Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP. I'm Lucas. It's TFYLP 461 live for December 20th. I am here with Phil.
Hi there.
And Peter.
Forever Destron.
And Rob.
Hi.
So there we go. So tonight we're doing our year-end top Transformers show. So we go through our thing. And I made sure this year to try to invite some people that don't necessarily collect some of the same things that I do so that they don't steal all my picks. But we'll see how this goes.
I'm pretty sure, other than one thing on my the top list, I'm the only person that has them. Well, actually, there's a second one that, and Peter's the only person that's going to have any of them. I don't think he's opened one of them. The other one he might have opened, but that's my prediction. Or maybe
I feel like Peter has everything. The question is whether or not he's opened it in time to make the show. So his list may be from last year.
Yeah, Peter, that's why it doesn't count. That's from 2016.
Yeah,
I've got things from 1985 sitting around. I can count those. I got them this year. I'm just grabbing whatever is within reach.
And then
I dug deep. I went through my emails and my spreadsheets and the main sites I order from and looked for what actually shipped this year. Just to, because I had no idea. I have no idea when I got anything at all. I know if I got it last week. That's about it.
Well,
I was going through lists online, especially of some of the third party stuff. I was looking up lists of oh wait, when did these Fans toys come out? None of them came out this year.
Fans Toys put out squat and diddly this year. Compared to, it's not true.
They put out reissues mostly.
They've had a bunch of mini.
They've always done No, they only did Sea Spray this year.
Oh, okay.
The rest came out last year, and they did several last year.
Yeah.
Fans Toys actually usually does a lot. And a lot of them are reissues, and then a lot of them are new stuff. And this year, I think they only had 3 new figures, really.
Smokey, Sea Spray, and
Soundwave.
Soundwave.
Robot Paradise.
Robot Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all they had that was actually new this year.
All good choices.
So I figure also gonna go over some our most disappointing figures.
Oh shit!
And then probably some mentions as well.
I forgot about the disappointing figure. I didn't grab one.
Well, I made lists for both mentions and disappointing, but I'm gonna go through them rapid fire. Some of them I didn't buy because I was I'm sad. I'm not gonna buy that. it's too terrible. But I don't know what order we should do stuff in.
Well, my thought was we were gonna do round robin top 5, and then we could get into our list of honorable mentions.
Why don't we do round robin top 4, and then we talk about honorable mentions and worst ofs, and then finish with what our tops of the year were.
So bury the lead.
Well, yeah, and just
no, I'm down with it.
Yeah,
we got to make sure that the best content that we save that to the 2-hour mark, so that the true people that are listening to the end of this, get that. Whereas at the beginning, it's who cares about your 4th favorite figure, right?
Yeah, guys, don't fast forward. Listen to the whole thing. Don't fast forward through the ads. The ads are important. If you're not hearing the ads, we're not making any money on this. So if you're not hearing the ads, just
we don't have we're not monetizing. Now, I don't know on YouTube, but I haven't even. I'm not sure. There's no ad roll. Right?
My mom said My mom said she liked the ads. Does that mean my mom's not really listening to this? Damn it. Damn it, Mom.
Rob, you're on mute, I think, unless you're trying.
Sorry. Sorry, Ron. No urinal or toilet bots on the list because nothing came out this year. At least as far as I can tell, the kitty cat came out last year.
Okay,
So.
I want to start. This year went by really fast. Is it just me?
Yeah.
This year was a dumpster fire. I thought 2020 was going to be one of the worst years I ever remembered, and then 2021 happened. And I was just like, how did that happen? How did that happen?
We sort of knew early in the year that 2020 was going to suck. And we just resigned ourselves that 2020 would suck and 2021 would be better. And don't get me wrong, it's a little bit better, but this roller coaster ride is just just painful.
I don't know 2020 that we knew that at the beginning of the year. I mean, I remember
in spring is when we started realizing.
I distinctly remember in January of 2020 hearing about this virus in China, and I was like, man, that sucks for them. Hope this doesn't come over here. Like, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, here in the U.S., we all thought it was just another SARS or, well, it's funny, it is
SARS or MERS or Ebola. It's over there. It's somewhere else, and it'll be out of the news sooner or later.
The new bird flu. But as we went over last week when we just talked about 2021 in general, like there actually was a lot of big stuff that happened in the Transformer world. Like it surprised me. Like the more we talked, I was like, oh, that happened this year. That happened this year. It was actually a lot of mostly good stuff. Not all perfect, but it was a big year somehow.
Yep. So
right,
I guess I want to get into it. What do we? Oh, start it over.
Start the episode over. I gotta go collect some things. Go ahead and start. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Run,
Peter's like, hold on. I need to actually come up with my list here. The beginning of the show. So we're doing a top 4, not a top 5. Is that the?
Well, top 4, and then we go through our worst and honorable mentions, and then we go with our top toy.
Okay.
So have 5.
Oh, 5.
10.
Okay, so we do 4, then our top. I'm confused.
So you do 4, and then you do your disappointments and honorable mentions, and then you do your number 1 of the.
Okay.
Yeah, but still
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so.
We'll still rotate.
Who do we want to go first?
Start with Peter.
I'm gonna go first because I just have my stuff here. So my number 5 is Huffer. So again, there's gonna be a theme here going on my on my list here.
I wonder what line they'll be from.
Right, exactly. So not all of them are from the same line, but most of them are. But this is a really good toy. I don't know. I mean, we finally got a good Huffer in the line. I'm glad they finally did it right. I don't know. I really hope it's funny when the mini bots, when they first were releasing Cliff Jumper and whatnot, and you're like, oh man, $20 for a mini bot and whatnot. But these are a lot better than, the old Legends class toys and whatnot. So I would rather just have this and have it be my representation and whatnot of the character than a $10 toy that I don't really like 100%. So it's painted well. It's a fun transformation. I mean, some might call it a mini masterpiece. I don't know, but
that was on my list of. I did not buy it, but I was tempted to because I actually do still have like a collection of Generations mini bots that I like, and there's right now I have the Power Core Combiners not Huffer-ish thing in there. Which is a cool toy, but that one does fit the bill better. But then I've just been lazy about it. Like it'd be one of those, like if I saw it at a show or in the store or something, I'd probably snag it. But otherwise, I'm not going to go out of my way to get it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely one of the ones that it was sorely needing an update.
Yeah.
That you can't. There's not really a close second from Hasbro. So. But. All right, Phil, you want to go?
I'll go next because Lucas, I got a feeling you and I got a lot of the same picks. So I'm going to start by saying like my budget this year was tighter than it's been in a lot of years. So a lot of mine stuff is more along the lines of mainline, and I'll talk about some other things, when I get to the things I didn't like about 2021. But yeah, I mean Huffer again, just it's a fun toy, man. It's like Lucas said, it's It's a great update. I'm really looking forward to Pipes. Pipes is one of my favorite mini bots. Just his design and the coloring of them. I'm really looking forward to that. If I can hopefully easily get him, who knows at this point if Pipes will be easy to obtain.
They're
But
hitting
even
now. I know, like over by us, there was like pretty much like Tigatron, like that whole wave is hitting our stores now. So you might check your Walmart's. Seems like Walmart's been kind of the one that. Oh, I think Targets have been hitting too now.
Target, I think, is where these guys were spotted in North Carolina over the weekend. Stacks and Pipes.
Slammer and Pipes?
Slammer and Pipes, I'm sorry.
Slammer and Pipes. Yeah.
I love how Lucas started off the show with, I tried to get people that wouldn't have the same picks at me, and out of the gate, the first two figures we talk about are the same thing.
Yes.
So mission failed.
Luckily, if I just go before Phil every time, then it'll be okay.
Just steal that thunder.
So.
Ditto. Yeah. Oh, I guarantee you're not going to have something that I'm going to talk about at least one point this evening, Lucas.
There you go.
All right.
I'm going to go next. I know Peter wanted these. I don't know if he got them, but I'm going to do a pair because they're related. But it's Transart, Transmetal 2 Cheater, or Transmetal Cheater, and their X9 Ravage. And the Cheater is the better figure just because if you know much about Ravage, he barely transforms, which is accurate and fine. But they both just off the screen. The transformations are what they need to be, and like they're effective. They get what they're done, but they're simple, but without like sacrificing anything in the looks, even though they stay simple, and they're well made. They're cool. Ravage has magnets in his hip to hold the gun. Like that's just so great. More things need magnets. Every time any of us talk about a toy with magnets, we're like, oh my God, why don't more people do magnets? How do they work? And Cheater is great as well. It's just two excellent toys. I hope Transart does some more stuff. They haven't done anything else this year. They do have a few things lined up. One of which looks to be really out of scale, which is making me sad face. The Power Master Optimus. Optimal Optimus. Yeah, sorry.
It's a redo of their very first release, which was out of scale.
It's like a Legends, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Transart has been doing great stuff. I hope they do more and keep it like this and their previous releases because super good. And this was really early in the year. I had even forgot that it came out this year until I was looking through stuff. I was like, oh yeah, it shipped in January or February, something like that. But yeah.
I finally put those up in cases. They've been floating around here, like where I sit for the show, for months, and occasionally you see me pop up. I'm like, I love those. They're fantastic. I agree. I hope Transart keeps going, and we see more characters like that Transmetal Tarantulas, and just the whole Transmetal line. Give me all of season 2. I want it. Yeah. They're fantastic.
Who was showing a prototype of Dinobot 2?
That's what I was about to say. That's there. I don't think we knew who it was. My guess was Transart, but is it? If it's somebody that we. Sorry, go ahead.
There's nothing confirmed yet, as far as I know.
Like I don't even think the Black Arachnia was confirmed. As I think we're guessing Transart because we don't know who else, but the Jing Zhang or whatever that did the awesome Transmetal 2 Megatron, like it could be them or it could just be somebody new or somebody new. Yeah. So who knows? That's my number 5.
Yeah, it's amazing how many third-party companies go through the Lionel Hutz transformation. Will Lionel Hutz change his name?
Does he?
Because he was like, there's an episode where he, and I apologize, I can't remember what he changed his name. It was a Latino name that he was changing his name to because he was on the run from the law for some reason.
Oh.
All right, Peter.
Me? Okay. I'm sorry. I was going to be prepared and then I wasn't prepared and now I'm totally not prepared. I was going to bring down a bunch of my kids' stuff and show that off because I moved and I'm super behind unpacking rather. So I haven't had a chance to open up most of my Kingdom stuff or most of my third-party stuff for the year. And the things I have opened, they're at the office or in other rooms and I didn't remember to grab them.
Just tell us what they are. It'll be fine.
Yeah, so I'm just going to start with this. Here's a box I've been having sitting around. I think this was this year.
It
I
was.
believe it was.
Yay!
Yeah.
This is my number 5. This is the MMC Star Convoy Stellars Promenum Ocular Max. It's their new unlimited subline, and I'm a big fan of Victory and Zone and everything beyond. I'm a big fan of everything, but I really love that we're finally getting attention to these like later, slightly more obscure characters as a masterpiece scale, not as masterpiecey as I would like, which is why it's lower on my list. And mine had the leg issue. If anyone's aware, there was a tension issue. The little tensioner springs in the legs caused them to collapse under his own weight. Mine had that issue, but Ocular Max or MMC, they were really great about getting the parts out to me. They replaced.
Everybody that ordered it got parts shipped to them, if at all possible. Like without asking, you got the replacement parts sent out, which just fixed that tension in the knee that stopped it from sliding.
Yep,
a little
easy. It was varying degrees of easy. There were some tricky points, but yeah, and that fixed the figure right up, and I'm super happy with it now. I was a little like poo-pooing it before just because I had to like pose him with like super wide leg stances to keep him from slumping down. But yeah, he's a lot of fun.
There's some irony in that line being called Unlimited, and it's the only release. It feels pretty limited. They haven't announced anything else either for it, so
Ocular Max and MMC in general have slowed down, so I hope we see more from them. I don't know how well this sold, and I know that a lot of their other things have slowed down, minus their Perfection series combiners.
Yeah, I feel like
which are super sweet.
Yeah, I feel like all their combiners, they're just so busy doing that now that I wonder if that's gonna be a big chunk of like what they release.
I do know that. Go ahead.
So that's pretty deep mainline G1 stuff. That's hard to beat that as from a sales point of view. And and like the thing they do there, the stuff they're doing there is also really great. And if that helps funds more of these niche releases, then hooray. Everyone wins.
Yep. Anything to keep it going. Let's see more stuff like that, because this one was a win for me.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess on to my number 4 pick, and I actually have 2 figures. I realize this is kind of cheating, but I couldn't really pick one. So my next pick are the Dinobots. Both of them, they're just absolutely fantastic, chunky. You get to go back to an actual like what feels like a leader for the leader class, which is really nice. They did them right. I mean, especially after Power of the Primes, like those things were just so disappointing and whatnot. And these are just absolutely
Swoop's not bad.
So, okay, sure. There you go. But yeah, like these things are great. Like, I mean, the only thing that's bad about the release are those extra figures, like the wheelie and whatnot that comes with them. But whatever, who cares? Like, this is good enough for me. So.
Like, if it didn't have the Willy, would you be mad that you still paid leader price for that package? No.
100%.
No one cares.
So, right.
I think the only thing I don't like about these, I mean, and I didn't buy them, but is I don't trust Hasbro to finish them in the consistent aesthetic. Because that was the thing that was exciting about the Power of the Primes Dinobots, is that they did all 5, finally, for the first time since, like, 1985. Or, whenever those came out. 84, 85?
85.
I mean, I think that they will definitely finish them all. Now you have me worried about the aesthetic thing, because that is
like I'm hoping Studio Series that gives them a multi-year line
right.
to keep it consistent. Or that's the problem we had with like the Insecticons beforehand. It's like by the time they got around to doing another one, the aesthetics have changed, and so they put one out in the Legends-ish line. But but yeah, I think mainline collectors have a chance thanks to Studio Series and how kind of some of the cool flexibility they put in that line.
Well, one thing that's a little frustrating, I guess we could probably get that, in disappointments or whatever, is the Studio Series line where it's supposed to be super animation accurate and whatnot, and then now we're already seeing where they're like releasing more animation accurate. I'm like, gosh darn it. Peter called it though too. He's like, they're gonna do this, like where it's like they're gonna make it just incrementally nicer, and yeah. but these are great. Like I don't really foresee a need to have a nicer version. Like, I mean, I'll probably get, like, if they release a Generation Selects like G2 or just something else and whatnot, like I might get that as well, because these are really fun.
Phil.
Right.
So I'm
Phil,
gonna
show
go
us your Dinobots.
with a recency bias one here, and pull this guy off the shelf right behind me. And Masterpiece Skids. I enjoy this dude. He's a little small. I will say he's like, when you put him up to the other Masterpiece guys, he is not short, but just a little scrawny feeling. I wish he was like a little bit beefier on the arms. I know he's gone against the aesthetic they were going with, which was more cartoon accurate, and he's going a little bit more, toy accurate. But I enjoy that. I like the chrome gun on his arm there. I do like the paint details on the arms, and I mean, he, not the easiest transformation, but certainly not the hardest. And just,
it is definitely the easiest transformation. Like, let's be
for
clear.
an MP. Yeah, you're right, because my 7-year-old made it like 90% of the way through. I mean, and
that's not a knock, for what it's worth.
No, and I kind of like that, and I shouldn't say kind. I do like that we have an MP that kind of reversed the trend of the prices jumping higher and higher and higher. This is not as nice as some of the recent MPs, but you didn't pay as much for it. So I feel like it's like, all right, you got a little bit of a trade-off, and I enjoy that trade-off. So yeah, I dig MP Skids. I think he looks good on the shelf. I like his details quite a bit, and yeah, I'm pleased. I'm probably, I was actually like dumping on this toy when I was starting to see the in-hand pictures. I feel like the some of the prototype pictures looked good, and I was excited. And then when I saw the 2 different tone blues for the in-hand pictures, I was like, oh, that looks crappy. And like, I have it in hand, like, no, that looks good. I like the choice. So yeah, I'm a big fan of MP Skids here, and happy to have him on my shelf. And he's number 4 for me.
Well, I'm really curious with Skids if they had designed him like a few years ago and then just couldn't get the license from Honda at the time, and if that's why it fits in more with like the old line. I could be completely 100% off my rocker with saying that, but
like, the rumors abound about this toy. Like, I have Reboost here. I did not buy Skids because I have X-Transbot Skids, but I wanted the mold. It's definitely a throwback to Sideswipe and Prowl era, and that's why he's shorter, is because that's the scale for Masterpiece. But like, they put paint in the vehicle mode on it, and there's tons of accents on the robot mode, but like, it does not at all feel like a modern Masterpiece. Take that as you will, depending on your tastes. So to me, it doesn't feel like a Masterpiece toy. I do like Reboost, though. It's a fun toy. It's not on any of my lists. But the transformation is very simple. Again, that's not a knock, just is. And I don't know. Again, if you're going to have a character in the Masterpiece line that isn't cartoon aesthetic, it might as well be the guy that's in there for like 5 frames or whatever. So like,
yeah, he got more screen time in the Transformers comic book than he did in the show.
Yeah,
he like had a whole issue dedicated to him in the comic book.
He had a whole like.
Oh, you mean the Marvel? Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel. Yeah. He had a whole arc to himself where he, goes off on his own, gets blasted by Ravage, hangs out with Charlene, gets taken by Circuit Breaker, gets his face ripped off. Spoiler alert. And then he gets built into a giant mech thing to fight the battle chargers on the Statue of Liberty. And then he disappears forever. I'm sorry, he shows up in one panel in issue 75 during the battle with Unicron. Unless you're counting the UK continuity. The end.
He's out there hanging with Sideswipe. Isn't Sideswipe mostly absent from Marvel comic?
He's absent a lot of the time. Yeah.
So like G2.
Yeah, when I was a kid and I got that issue of Marvel Comics, I was like, who is this guy? I've never seen him before. And I kind of remember then finding him in the big pamphlet that showed all the toys, and I was just like, I don't know, he just had like a little bit of an air of mystery around him that I kind of dug. I've always sort of enjoyed Skids, and aside from the Bayverse version, which just is horror in many levels, Yeah, I enjoy this version. I need to track myself down a good G1 skids.
Skids
the one thing
go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was going to say Skids is interesting as a toy because he was technically part of the 1985 assortment, but he showed up in late case packs of the 84 assortment. So he shows up with trademark on Transformers as opposed to the rest of the 85 assortment, which says registered trademark. And then he shows up again later in the 85 assortment with the registered trademark. So there's 2 boxes for Skids. He's not available like pre and post rub signed, but he has 2 different boxes. He just fell in weird, and so he wasn't.
Cracks.
Yeah, so he just kind of disappeared, and they played with that in the IDW series where he's just like people, he's a spy. Oh, I thought you died. Oh, you're okay. Yeah. What's going on with you? He did, and then they permanently gave him that air of mystery, and that was fun to learn about him.
Yeah.
No, the one thing that is dumb about Masterpiece Skids is it doesn't come with this little scooter, which Reboost does. There was no reason not to include it. There's no reason.
I was actually bummed when I realized that. I don't think I realized that until I opened them up, and like I started to go through like pictures of them from like Big Bad Toy Store, and just like, wait, where's the scooter? Like, oh, the scooter's not in any of the pictures. I guess he didn't come with a scooter. So, yeah, that was. If you're not sure if you want to get Skids or the repaints, the repaints come with a scooter and Skids doesn't. So use that as your tipping point.
All right. My number 4, and just to be clear, like stuff that's on my top 5, like that doesn't mean things are perfect. It just means I enjoy them that much. Oftentimes in spite of the flaws or whatever, like we like what we like. I feel the Transart ones, I really have no complaints, but all the rest of them, I could have complaints if I wanted, but I still really like them. And so, my number 4 is Planet X Grimlock because it is freaking huge, and he's got like an awesome finish all the way on him. Like he's one of those. It's a display piece. The head sculpt still, I talked about him, I don't know, a couple weeks back, but the head sculpts in both are just. I don't know. They're just some of my favorite head sculpts on any toy ever. Just for whatever reason, they just, here my crappy camera. And then just the dino head is so wonderful.
The dino head just looks amazing.
It is so good. But the toy is not perfect. The transformation from a high level, the steps are fine. They're easy, but there is some fiddliness once you get into it with like getting some of like the back pieces to snap together to like make it smooth. And the legs, it kind of does the typical, ever since Masterpiece Grimlock thing where the tail's all folded up in here. Although, I have mine on the outside now once I put it back because that's more accurate to the comic. But they can go in, I think. Yeah, I don't think I'm a liar. But yeah, it gets into that thing where plastic needs to mesh through another piece of plastic, right? And you're just kind of like, get over here. It's uncomfortable. It's dumb. We've made so many great looking Grimlock figures that you don't need to do it that way. And Planet X's transformations, I don't have everything they've done, but I have a good bit, and they've all been really good. They're usually, they're good. They're good. So I was just surprised at how frustrating that bit was. And it's super minor, but like these butt flaps, the tolerances are off on one of them, and one of them's just going to fall off all the time while you're transforming it. Just accept it. It stays on once you in robot mode, at least once you're done. But so yeah, are there some flaws? Yeah, but he just looks absolutely great in both modes. I don't know. He's still super awesome. He made the list. So
that's one of those figures that I keep wanting it. Like,
I know.
I don't want to spend the money. Like that's the trouble with it because I think it's like $200 or somewhere around there. And but it's a huge figure. It is a display piece. It definitely looks like a masterpiece level, whatever you want to call it. It looks like it's on the level of the other ones. But yeah, so I feel like I'm going to get it hopefully at some point, but I don't know when because it's, it's a chunk of change to get it.
He's one of those dudes that I really hope I can find someone selling them cheap on, not cheap, but like 10% off on Facebook. Like, I opened mine, my wife says I gotta stop collecting, I'm gonna sell it. And it's like, all right, give me that Give me that just like 10-15% off, and I'll feel a lot better about grabbing that toy. And the more you show it, Rob, the more I want. Because I remember seeing it with you at TFCon, and I was like, the mill and design on the head just doesn't
So good.
do it for me. But and I'm not a giant fan of it, but the more you show that toy, the more I'm like, oh, that does look nice.
Keep showing it. Keep showing it.
It's heavy.
My arms hurt.
Right.
It's not that heavy, but holding it for 10 minutes, you get tired of it.
Pitch it to your wife that you need it for, if you have, someone break into your house, that you need something ready to grab and, knock them over the head. So.
Yeah, no, I got that covered.
Oh, okay.
All right, moving on, Peter.
Okay. 4 years ago, I work on, I haven't done anything this year because it's been a weird year. But I'm always working on customs, and I source parts for customs, and I buy broken bots or whole bots at full price to use them, to cut them up, to take them apart for customs. And it's a joke. I get my customs to about 80%, and then I either get bored or distracted or think, I can finish it up anytime, and then I don't finish the custom. And as soon as I get to that point where I've decided we're good for now, here comes Hasbro or a third party to make the figure that I was working on, often using my recipes. So, this isn't open yet, so just bear with me. I made a Fangry out of a double cross a while ago, and I wasn't making Fangry, I was making Wilder from Master Force, who is Fangry. It's the same mold, same colors, same whatever. I can't tell if you can see me. I'm supposed to be holding stuff up for the camera, but yeah, there's Fangry. Mine has the red optic visor. This one doesn't. So now I'm going to have a Fangry and a Wilder. And I don't know. It's basically the same recipe. There's an add-on kit you can get. Duran has it. A few other people have it. It looks really good. That way you can make the shield out of his wings like you could with the Gen 1 figure. I got the Gen 1 figure for Christmas of 1988, and I loved him. And then I found out about Master Force in the mid-90s, and I fell in love with Wilder and Cancer and Bullhorn. So I love the juniors. I love the juniors, and I'm glad that
for anyone confused, there is a toy named Cancer in Master Force, right?
Yes,
it's Master Force. That's the character's name. Yeah,
I'm not saying I love Cancer.
Yeah,
I'm saying I love the character Cancer.
If people don't know that, they're confused, and it's like it's a toy name. It's just how it happens.
Zodiac crab sign.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. And he turns into a crab monster lizard thing. So I love the character and the toy named Cancer. Anyway, so they made a Fangry. He was a little bit tricky to get. I got him, and now I got two of them, and my kid got one. So there's three of them floating around the house, and there's a custom that's mostly done. So I don't know. I've got a freaking problem. And it came in this neat set, which came with legs to correct your Black Arachnia's legs, and a Bumblebee in the right color but the wrong mold, and a Nemesis Primal, which is something that doesn't exist for those who care about those sorts of things. Neato.
Exists now.
I really hope that they finish all the Headmaster Juniors. I don't want to have to worry about customs like Peter.
I have custom started of Cancer and Bullhorn, so I'm sorry, Horrible and Squeeze Play for those who want to, differentiate. And I do. I have a Master Force shelf, and then I have a 1988 shelf. So there's two different sets that I need.
I was close to putting this guy on my list, but he's a repaint of a toy that came out last year. But the hope is that Fans Toy is about done with the Autobot Headmaster Juniors, and I'm really hoping they give us the Decepticon. Fans Hobby. I'm really hoping Fans Hobby gives us the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors, because they're a great third-party toy line. They've done great monster Transformers, and I would thoroughly enjoy seeing them do the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors.
Agreed. That would be a fun avenue to go down. It wouldn't make sense for them not to at this point.
Well, they're getting deep into some of these Unicron trilogy toys, so that's what's got me a little bit worried.
Hopefully, they can do current lines.
Yeah.
All right, are we on number 3?
Back to you. Yeah.
All right, back to some mainline here. So my next one is another studio series, which is Hot Rod. So this is just an absolutely fantastic figure. It comes with all the accessories that you want, for the most part. It's painted just really well. The head sculpt, they knocked it out of the park with that. It just blows the masterpiece out of the water. And to be honest, you can't say that about any of the figures as much as we joke. But like this is like legitimately probably the first one that I was like, I would rather have this than the masterpiece that was released several years ago. And I hope.
Are you talking about the MP9 or MP29? I can't remember exactly.
29.
Oh, because there's masterpiece.
Not Rodimus Prime, not Rodimus
okay.
Convoy.
Well, because that one is Hot Rod as well.
No, it's Rodimus.
It is technically
Hot Rodimus and Rodimus Convoy.
Yeah, I'm talking about MP whatever 20 something.
The recent one, yeah, the one with the bad proportions.
Yeah, like
it's $40 because it was knocked off.
It had a huge backpack and whatnot. Like this doesn't have a huge backpack. It's just an incredible figure. So
100% agree.
Yeah. Not much else
I don't
to say.
disagree. I don't disagree. I just kind of prefer Rodimus a little bit more. Like I know I might be in the minority that Hot Rod is not in my top 5 and Kingdom Rodimus is. I gave this guy the edge because he's got a little bit more play factor to him. The proportions.
So that's your number 3 then, right?
This is my this would have been my number 5 if Lucas didn't start with Huffer. So because Lucas started with Huffer, I'm like, well, I can't like show Huffer later on after Lucas already did. Let's just go back to back. And I mean, this is a good toy. And I like it that it is a fun toy. My son and I love to play with this guy. I've got him in vehicle mode because I just really, really like the base little thing. He is, I think, the last of the Transformers that came with the connector piece for the bases. The Arc, the most recent Titan we got didn't come with one of the connector pieces. So the fact that we had like kind of the last hurrah of the connector pieces in this guy. What's that?
The last Harad?
Yes, the last Harad.
Oh.
This won't flop down now. But yeah, I don't know. This guy he just has a little bit more play fun factor to him than Hot Rod did. Not knocking Hot Rod at all. This guy just gets the edge a little bit for me. I've got to hold this down for some reason. What am I doing wrong? There we go. So yeah, it's just a little more fun in my opinion.
I mean, this was an honorable mention for me. I think that the head sculpt could be, or the face sculpt could just be just a touch better. Like it's okay. But and I think too, like if I would have got this for the $50 sale price too, whenever they're running for Christmas and all that too, I'd probably be singing its praises more than, the fact that I paid full price for it. But I mean, it's fantastic. I'm excited. I'm really excited. And I feel bad that this wasn't in my top 5, but
I think, you kind of was worried about the same thing, but when you compare the truck, the trailer part of the truck it's a significant toy. I mean, I don't know if you're getting as much plastic as you were with Skylynx or Jetfire, but like you're not getting, I don't feel like you're getting ripped off. Yes. Is it better to pay $50 than $80? Absolutely. But I don't feel like you're getting ripped off with this toy as a Commander scale. And I think some people sort of thought that, and then they like opened the box and saw how big the trailer was and was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a beefy
I agree
boy
with
right there.
that. Like, I mean, I think we said it when it came out that I wish Optimus Prime that they would have done that with this trailer and thrown in 1,000 accessories like they did with the Masterpiece and then charged $80. I would have been more okay with that just because the trailer that comes with the leader Optimus is not great.
No.
Wait until they do Studio Series Optimus Prime. He's coming.
Well, especially after you saw the Starscream with the throws, like that they're redoing it. So
the only thing that kills me about that toy, like when you held it up, just like I wasn't looking for nitpicks. I don't own it. I'm not going to buy it. But screaming at me are the unpainted hubcaps. Those just stick out like a sore thumb to me. So bad for whatever reason. I don't know. I was just
but
like,
it's so weird. Like every Rodimus toy, the wheels are unpainted. Like I think the DX9
Not
one's
every.
the same with Carrie.
I don't remember for Carrie, but like I'm sure the masterpiece is not.
Carrie was unpainted. You had to put stickers on them. Toy Hacks made something.
I guess Fans Toys probably. I'm sure they probably painted theirs.
Well, Fans Toy only did Hot Rod, not Rodimus.
Correct. Which is a great toy. Hoodlum, he's
Oh,
delightful.
I'm mixed bag for me, but another show. All right. So I think it's
and this week's episode is Rob's thoughts on Hoodlum. 1.5 hours of Rob talking about one toy
from 2-3 years ago or whatever.
The rest
we can
of us
lump in
cats
some other
just
Fans
sit and
toys.
stare.
This is going to be, I think, my most controversial pick to even be included in this list because the internet got mad about it. But man, you just like what you like. You just like what you
I think
like.
I know who this is. I think I know who it is.
Motherfucking X-Transbots Dr. Egg is my number 3. I love this stupid thing. It's really, really stupid. It is way too expensive. It's awesome. It is so awesome. Unfortunately, it's been sitting over there in the case and my batteries have died. I'm gonna have to look
Now be
into
careful when replacing your batteries, not to put the wrong ones in.
Yeah, don't put rechargeables in non-rechargeable spots. Bad things happen.
What kind of things happen?
Things.
Michael
Broken
Bay
eggs.
explosions happen.
Yeah. But it's a big chunk of die cast. Like I understand why it costs what it costs, whether or not it's worth that's in the eye of the beholder. All this stuff is right. And plenty of people will be like, "You paid $50 for a toy. What's wrong with you? Even what you paid $25, whatever."
How much did you pay for a round of golf, nerd?
Got to go with my sports balls, but the faces all look great. They're all painted. Everything. I mean, everything's painted. He's got bendy wires that you can control. The stand looks really nice. The electronics are definitely a little jank. Like, again, none of these figures are perfect. It's jank, but they are cool when it lights up and spins. And I wish I'd had more time today to realize that the batteries were dead, and I would have worked that out. But I don't know. It's cool. It's awesome. I encourage doing weird, odd things like this because G1 is drying up to a bit, and so I just love weird, oddball things that I would love to have masterpiece representations of. And you're never going to get a Quintesson better than this. I know a lot of people like the little one that came out of Hasbro, and that's cool if that's fits your collection better. But if you want something kind of awesome and substantial, here you go. And it turns out these things are large. I didn't realize that. Like they're pretty big in the cartoon. Like anything, it's inconsistent, right? But they're not small. So he's huge. They're huge. This thing is just it's kind of badass. It just is. Sorry, internet. Yeah, it's over. You may think it's too much, but it's pretty freaking awesome. So
does it
people that aren't aware
at all, or is it just?
It's that. I mean, it rotates and lights up
rotates,
and
right.
and makes sound effects. Except it doesn't say guilty or innocent, which is
that'd be great.
I know, like, how does it not say the classic line? I don't know. And I don't know if it's programmable, like if it's hackable, you can kind of mess with it. I have no idea, but it's an odd omission for something that, you already stole the other sound clips. Like, why wouldn't you steal the main one? But either way, it's still, I don't know. Oh, and the remotes, their ship, which is just a fun thing to do, right? It's obviously not in scale because this thing would be way huger, but it's just, they're like, hey, we want a remote for it. What's a neat way, something neat we could do instead of just having a remote? Like, oh, hey, let's make it the ship. Neat. Fun. So, and it is also, it's either, I'm pretty sure it's painted. It's either painted or just has a really nice finish. No, it's painted. Yeah. So, it's just cool. It's just cool, man. It's just cool.
Who made that big giant third-party Unicron head? And did that ever come out?
I have no idea.
Isn't there a big giant Unicron pillow head coming out?
I mean, there's that from the company that charges $50 for shipping, and shame on them. Shame on them. You charge $30 for your product, $50 for shipping.
There's an artist that makes Unicron heads. Is like one of the things he's done. So like he commissions them, like he's on TFW and whatnot. If you want to get a giant Unicron head, I think that might be what you're thinking of. Like if
There
you
was
saw
something
it
in
at
a case at TFCon, yeah, a
that's
few years
it.
ago.
That's the one. It's that artist and whatnot. And it depending on how much you want it painted. Like he has different versions and whatnot. Because actually, before the Unicron came out, I looked into potentially getting it. But ended up not. But yeah,
I'll have to look into that. And yeah, I want the pillow one too, but that company, they charge a ridiculous amount for shipping, and it makes me sad.
What does
but I was thinking
want?
I want all of them.
What does everybody need? Head. No Al Snow. No one catching on the Al Snow.
I know Al Snow.
Okay.
You can, but shame on them for charging as much as they do for shipping. I was thinking that Dr. Egg ship thing would scale nicely with that giant Unicron eye. Like you could like poke it in his eye. It would be fun. Yeah.
So, what's your number 3, Mr. Peter?
I was gonna make a joke about how tall you were, but I missed my window.
Oh, okay.
No, because like you held up Dr. Egg, and I was gonna say, for those of you who aren't aware, like at home, hold it up and you look how big your hand is. People don't know if they haven't met you. You're 7 feet tall. You're a towering man, and Dr. Egg is bigger than your hand. You are. You impress me, and Dr. Egg's bigger than your hand, and that means it's a big toy. So everyone should go buy it. And just like Phil said earlier about with the
Reboost.
That's a big toy.
Yeah, that is.
Like Phil said earlier,
it is huge. It is huge.
Yeah. The more you hold it up and like fondle it, the more I want to have one to fondle myself.
Well, it's probably on discount everywhere. So, because as far as I could tell, it did not sell well because everybody's like, why is that like $150 or whatever it was?
It was like $180 originally.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think I got mine from Oh My Primus and got it like a little cheaper, and that's probably why. But yeah.
And I feel like it is sort of unfortunate bad press Rex Transbot. The thing probably most people saw about that toy was the dude who made his explode. And it's like, that has nothing to do with the toy. It's just like some knucklehead who was messing around with it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
But like that's sort of the thing that's stuck in, and I think probably most collectors' mind about that toy.
I mean, the difference is like if you bought a Hasbro toy and you put the wrong battery in, it's not going to explode. They're going to put electronics and wiring in there to prevent that. But, this is something that's much, less professionally made in that. And it's like, here's the bare electronics. Don't screw it up.
Yeah.
It's like we take a lot for granted.
They're not quite the same.
Yeah. I mean, and we're used to, they have to idiot proof everything. They didn't idiot proof this. And so when somebody got through it, did an idiot move, not saying that person's an idiot, but his actions were, and we all do it sometimes. Whoops. Mm-hmm. It happens. Thankfully he was okay. Yeah,
most of our
some of his toys weren't.
Kill a toy line, or not a toy line, but a toy sales.
Yeah. All right, Peter, what you got?
What are we on? What number is this? 3?
3.
I don't know. I went and retrieved a pile of stuff. Here's the thing. I got this thing. It's Getaway. It's MMC Getaway. I'm sure it's great.
This year.
The Microcasters reviewed it like 6 months ago, and they said words about it. So go back and watch that episode. I'm sure it's great. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm excited about it. I'm about number 3 excited about it because I love IDW, and I love to hate this character.
It's good. You're going to like
I recently heard that 3 is a magic number.
I'm happy
one's
that
the loneliest number.
I'm happy that the Getaway came out because, again, as we said, like we're getting that much further away from all the IDW stuff, so it's nice to get, like certain characters, memorable characters and whatnot from the line, and it made a lot of sense to do a remold from Hot Rod of the character. So there we are.
I think we're on to you, Lucas, for your number 2.
All right, so my number 2.
The doo-doo spot.
I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to hold it up here. Hold on.
Unicrans.
I know somebody said this earlier in the show. So my little buddy over here, Unicron is my number 2. So I had to knock him just a little bit because of the flapjack backstacks. But
You're welcome.
Rob, what can you go through that? What was your line on that? Do you remember?
I cannot.
Oh man.
It took me so long to say it once, and I wrote it.
Oh man, that was so great. That's my favorite part about this. So, but yeah, so like it's a horrible Transformer, but it has a really good presence. So it looks really nice. I'm never transforming it again.
And like, it's hard to remember that came out this year. Like on the one hand, like when we ordered it, I was like, it's going to be a while before it comes out, and then that time disappeared, and then now it's sitting up there for like 6 months or whatever. Like, how'd that happen?
Well, I know earlier in the show, Catherine was asking if anyone is going to have Unicron on their list, and when I was going through my list earlier today with Christian, trying to figure out, what we're going to do, and he was like, wait, Unicron didn't come out this year. That was last year. And I'm like, no. It was this year. It shipped this year.
Let me just tell you this. Unicron is on one of my lists.
Oh, there you go. Ooh. Is it on your Nick list?
Rob with the hot takes.
Oh.
So why don't you hold that up while we talk about it for like 10 minutes, Lucas?
No, that's okay. I'm good. Here, I've got the head. Just the head, okay?
Well, that's not in scale to the little Dr. Egg ship thing.
Not. It is not.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah.
I mean, I think the sheer fact that we have a Unicron in that size is something to applaud.
Absolutely.
It's not a perfect toy. But just, again, the sheer fact that something that massive, that big exists, the fact that it got funded, because we saw Hasbro,
well, it didn't get funded.
Put out a toy that gets close. Yeah, I mean, it's a feat, and I'm sure there's a lot of people doing their top, whatever lists of toys for the year, and Unicron will be on a lot of them.
Somehow Unicron won Bobby Skullface's third-party Chug figure. Yes, that look is correct.
What is that?
I mean, should we just allow him to use the name Chugster Piece? Should we just let him, pay us the royalties on that?
No, he said it's because not a lot of company do like kind of Chug stuff anymore, and third party, and they don't, and so he threw it in there. And so, I mean, it's fine. Your show, you do whatever the hell you want. It was just funny.
Interesting. I would have thought was it Moon Studios or what? Zetacron? What's the
Studio
Cell?
Studio 01 Cell?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He should have just thrown that on there. Although
I don't think he liked that one.
Yeah.
And I think that one came out last year, didn't it?
Came out at the very end of last year.
Oh yeah, you're right. It did.
But there was a second version that came out this year. There was the orangey pumpkin one.
There you go.
The one where once it came out, the tones were both a little too different on both colors in opposite directions, enough to just completely throw off the looks and killed my interest in it. Made me sad.
So,
all right, you're number 2, Phil.
Show us your Unicron, Phil.
Unicron's still in his box. Studio Series Wreck-gar.
Kill the Grand Poobah.
I really, really enjoy this guy. We've had a lot of Wreck-gars over the years, especially the last 10 years. We've had a good amount of Wreck-gars, and they've just all missed the mark. And this guy hits it. And I don't have Wreck-gar, but I've got one of the KFC Junkions, and I'm just not. Rob, I know you really like them, and I've got the Psykill one coming in, but I'm just not a fan of it as much as I am of this guy here. It's the engineering is fun. There's similarities in the transformation to the G1 toy. A little bit similarities in terms of the transformation that I kind of dug, and it's just like this is what I want to get like an army built of this style Junkion. This is a fun toy. I really don't think I've got any complaints about him. So yeah, this is my number 2.
I can't wait to open him. He looks wonderful.
Yeah, that head, that face is just really. I mean, I don't know, man. Transformer goatees are just fun. So and it's not even a Transformer goatee. It's Transformer's mustache with a little just beard there, and it just just a memorable character. I mean, I love the animated version where they had Wreck-gar, but now voiced by Weird Al, give him a different personality. They've just always kind of done fun things with Wreck-gar, and he's just a cool, fun Transformer that it's fun to army build the Junkions, where you have them all riding on top of each other and then falling off and transforming and jumping on again. It's just a cool thing. Like that scene in the movie is probably one of the more memorable scenes. So that was pretty badass, and this guy represents that very well.
So how many Junkions are you gonna get, Phil?
I'll get as many as they make of if they do a generic army builder Junkion, which I'm not sure if they could or would, but I would, if they do like what they did with Marvel Legends, where they give you like a Junkion that you can swap out some parts to try and make it kind of different Junkions, I'd buy as many of those to make to the different Junkions that you could make with that. And that'd be a cool, fun thing to do. They do it pretty frequently nowadays with Marvel Legends. And it would be fun to see with some Junkions.
I wasn't sure if you're gonna pull a Rick and have like 100 Junkions or whatnot.
As I said at the beginning of the program, my budget this year has been tighter than most years, and that'll improve a little bit next year, but not to the point where I can have 100 Junkions. Or is it friends of the show, Joe, who's got like the giant kiddie pool full of Sharkicons.
Yeah.
So that I don't have the space or budget for that.
All right. My number 2 is Fans Toy Soundwave.
Oh,
yeah. It had to make an appearance. Like on the one hand, it feels like if you're into third party masterpiece, like you got to put Fans Toy stuff at the top. So
wait, hold on. Fans Toys. I thought.
All right, Robot Paradise.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's a completely new company. Like it's so amazing that they did their first figure was so good.
Right, it's crazy. So it feels almost token sometimes, but it is a great figure. I have wanted a visual update to Soundwave. I think I mentioned on Ouch My Wallet about it. Like, it really just showed how good the original MP design was, because I do think this is better, but it's not 10 years better, or how old is MP Soundwave?
2013.
Okay, yeah, so 7 years better. It's not 7 years better, not like the other stuff we've seen that's redone. Again, do think it's better. I like it, and it's a fun toy. It's not problematic. Fans Toys is really hit or miss. Sometimes their stuff is great, sometimes it's terrible. This one is pretty great, and it has a lot of similarities with the Masterpiece one. So I don't know. I was stoked for it. It is a good toy. It's well made. He's hefty. The Frenzy's not bad. He's not perfect because of the hollow legs, but it does make him have a better look. It's kind of the trade-off for that versus the original Masterpiece that are, a lot dinkier. But yeah, it's definitely noticeable from that edge, but whatever. It's more of an accessory, but yeah, he still looks great from the front. But yeah, Peter has problems with that.
I was going to lead off with I have a problem with that set in particular because of what you just said, not in totality, but that part. You held up the little red and black guy and called him. What did you call him?
Oh, Frenzy, because this is a cartoon based
And that's the
toy.
And that's the problem is that since this is a cartoon based thing, I have to now flip where I've been for 400,000 years, but their Rumble isn't purple. He's bluey.
Blue.
So they need to have some sort of purpley cartoon accurate Rumble. And then I might do a rib fur.
Well, the MMC ones I think is the right colors. He has a lot of purple on him.
Yeah.
Obviously they don't fit in the chest or anything.
And they're also too big. I mean, I like them, but I like Enemy being that size because he's just like the odd man out. Yeah. But I want Rumble and Frenzy to be little dinky guys.
They're not on my masterpiece shelf.
I like the Rumble and Frenzy from MMC. Like the birds look a little weird to me, like Laserbeak.
Birds are
but like
they're great, but they're also kind of weak in a way.
Yeah,
they kind of stand out in a weird way.
Not in a good way.
Like they're not bad. I wouldn't tell anybody not to get them. They're still cool, but it's just they do stick out, especially compared to Rumble and Frenzy, which I think are really cool. But yeah.
So
Soundwave is good.
Is all the Fans Toys figures, the larger Fans Toys figures are all good. Like that's how you know, like if it's gonna be a big figure and it's Fans Toys, it'll be good. If it's smaller, it's gonna be it'll look good still, but like it won't be quite as good. But I feel like that those larger ones, like their Galvatron is just fantastic. Their Dinobots are really good. All
the Dinobots are fun. Galvatron looks great, but he sucks. His transformation's garbage. It is not. I've done it several times. I never like it. X-Transbots has theirs coming out in theory. I don't suspect that transformation will be any better. So I won't tell. Like they have wins at all scales. They really do. Like almost all their mini bots have been fun.
I've really enjoyed their mini bots.
Yeah. And like the real problem, the only consistency I saw was their movie stuff. It feels like they had a different designer on their movie stuff. So like Peter really likes Hoodlum. I was a mixed bag on some parts I liked, some parts I didn't. Then obviously, the Joe, Blur, I freaking hate Jabber. And then, so it's just, and RC is a nightmare. So, she looks great.
But Coot and Apache are great. And Quietus is great too.
I don't like Coot either.
The transformation on Coot, I think, is rough, right?
Transformation on Coot is unbearable. But that's why
I got rid of Coot.
Yeah, because you got the KFC cup that's right behind you. I thought that's where you were going with, and you said your number, I think number 3 was a toy the internet didn't like, and that's where I thought you were going with KFC cup.
I could see how that would come in there. I went with more of an underdog.
That's his number.
I will say this: Locke is also on a list. Stay tuned.
There you go.
All right, Peter.
Is it me?
Yeah.
I really want that Robot Paradise Soundwave. I didn't think that I was going to want it, and every time I saw a picture of it, I was like, I don't know that I'm going to want that. It's not that much better than. And then everyone started getting it and started touching it, and I started doing comparison shots, and I was like, I really want that piece. God damn.
I'll tell you this. This might make you feel a little better. Like, if you have the original masterpiece, like, I don't think it's you got to buy it. I need to buy it for me. I love the cartoon aesthetic. You are not that hardcore into it as I am. So,
but Takara is going to put out a new Soundwave. It's
coming. Maybe. But see,
Rob,
the old one is still so good.
The old one is still
Rob,
really good.
When you talked about on Oof was where you said like if they just did an NP plus version of that Soundwave with a new paint job, I think tons of people would be really happy with that. And I agree. I'm in that camp.
Like, I mean, if you consider Fans Toys 100. Then the current one's like 75 or 80. They did MP Plus. It's going to be like 93. It's so close at that point that a lot of people will be, and it's going to be easier to get. I don't know. I won't say it'll be any cheaper, but
no, it won't be any cheaper. But they probably won't.
Maybe it'll come with more cassettes. That's an annoyance. It's like, why did this?
They would include more.
That's right. It was US that included all the cassettes. It wasn't Takara.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Takara released them in pairs, like pair.
Which is what Fans Toys is doing very annoyingly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my number
How
2.
dare you, Fans Toys, use the same model that Takara did?
That money-making model.
8
How
years ago.
dare you?
Right.
Same reason they keep releasing incremental updates in the Hasbro lines.
So my number 2 is a thing that came out. It's official, and I'm glad that it happened. It's not Masterpiece, and it's not. I don't know. It's this guy. It's Transmetal's Ravage, along with Gen 1 Ravage.
It's another Ravage on the list. A different one. Well, different toy, but same character.
Another Beast Wars Ravage.
Yeah.
Yes. This guy, I mean, when this scene happened in Beast Wars, in the Agenda Part 2, I wept like a child because it made the transformation sound, and I was very excitable. You know, I was like 18 years old, and it was just like, they haven't forgotten me. And it was a big deal for me. And yeah, the end.
You haven't opened it yet.
And I haven't opened it yet because I could only get one, because I was at the airport flying to TFCon when the orders opened up, and I was like, scrambling, like running between planes, ordering, order secured, get on plane. And then, I only got the one. So I got to get a couple more because the boy needs one too.
How are they on the secondary? Don't know. Okay.
I
don't know.
Haven't
Is
looked.
Pulse blocking you from ordering a second one?
I haven't gone back to check, honestly.
Because
I figured they were sold out.
And I don't think he sold out, at least not initially. But what I will say is that Pulse has been blocking people from ordering seconds. They've been putting limits that like are stuck on your login. You would need to get a second login for some things to get more than one.
Really?
You know, like that Zartan. You know, they had another wave of some of those PulseCon toys get released this past week, like a restock. And people are like, oh, Zartan's back in stock. And I'm like, oh, let me see if I can get another one. Like, nope, can't. I was capped.
For what it's worth, it's $53 on Hasbro Pulse right now, as long as they're not blocking you. So it's still there if anybody wants to get it.
I'm checking right now.
And if it is blocking you, then Rob, I'm assuming you didn't get one?
No, I did not.
Well, then there you go, Peter.
I mean, I could always buy it and hold it until next time we meet up.
I
No
question
problem.
whether or not I'm ever going to open mine, because I really like the box packaging on it, and I'm not sure that I care about transforming that particular figure. So I don't know. I still have not decided. But it looks really nice.
Why is it $53? That seems expensive.
It comes with a vintage G1 piece, and G1 is expensive, don't you know?
Most of the PulseCon exclusives were pricey.
Okay.
It's just
Like
the way it
the
is.
how it
PulseCon
was.
Venom. PulseCon Venom was like a regular Marvel Legends toy, and it was like, I don't know, $35.
Huh.
And
It
originally,
wasn't like the
that Venom
deluxe
was like
bulky
20.
one?
No, it was just a regular. It was like a large body Marvel Legends toy. Then they put out that Venom, that body, that figure with a different paint job at a $20 price level. And I think the PulseCon version it had a nicer box certainly for the PulseCon version, but it was like $35. Maybe it was 30, but still not warranted.
All right. So do we want to do our disappoint/worst figures or mentions?
I guess disappointments first.
All right. Kick it off.
Sound good. Okay, so my biggest disappointments, I think, like honestly, like all of the figures this year are all pretty good. My biggest disappointment though have to be these fossilizers. I do not like them at all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Anna and to Catherine and everybody else that loves these things, but I think
Catherine, plug your ears.
I think that they suck. I think that they're not good Transformers. I guess they look okay as like fossilized dinosaurs, whatever. I just don't think that they pulled it off that well for these. I do like the repaints a little bit better. of them, but still I feel like it's a miss. Like I really like the weaponizers, and like I especially now that like Slammer came out, and I was like, man, I kind of forgot with these. I haven't messed with one of these weaponizers. Like those are just I like them so much more than these fossilizers. And so
Are they in the cell bin? That's a yes. Maybe not yet. You haven't admitted it to yourself,
no,
but
they're not that bad. They're not like they're not the level of the Power of the Prime Starscream that I absolutely hated that figure.
That's trash.
That is the biggest pile of trash. So I wouldn't go that far. I just don't really like the play pattern that much on these particular ones. And I'm sorry to those that like it.
Catherine says even she doesn't like the fossilizers. So it's just Anna who doesn't listen to the show anyways. So we're good.
I'm gonna have to let Anna know.
I'm probably in the camp with Anna where I'm just like, Lucas, just go die in a fire. I mean, the fact that you don't like the fossilizers just,
seems excessive for not liking a toy.
You know what?
How dare you?
It looks like you previously purchased the maximum number of units for Transformers, Generations, War for Cybertron, Deluxe, Covert Agent Ravage, and Micromaster Decepticons Forever Ravage. You will be unable to proceed with this purchase. Please return to the cart and remove the item before continuing.
Well, rip.
Do you have
does your boy have an account yet?
Yeah.
He does not, but girl does. So I'll just bother her.
There you go.
Do you have to be a premium member to order it, or can just anyone get it?
Anyone can get it now, and because it's over $50, you'll still get free shipping.
There you go.
It did let me add it to the cart, and it did say you qualify for free shipping, but as soon as you go look at your cart, it gives you this, hey now, slow your roll notice.
Yep. Which it is, from what I've heard from people who have multiple accounts, I believe they will ship to the same address. You just need to pay for multiple premium accounts.
Okay.
At least if you wanted it early, I should say.
I like fossilizers.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Never apologize for what you like.
A controversial topic here, so.
Oh, I'm going to disappoint Anna with my least favorite toy. And that is Dracula's. I don't like the Mind Wipe mold. The Mind Wipe was... Every form of Mind Wipe has been my least favorite of that line. Like the G1 Mind Wipe is my least favorite. Headmaster, the Titans Return Mind Wipe is my least favorite Titans Return toy. I don't. Why did they make this? Why did they do a Transformers Dracula crossover? I hate I hate soft goods on toys. Peter, you're raising your hand.
I'm raising my hand. I know why they made it. Because in the 80s, there was going to be a possible line of monster Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
And designs shown up in like a Generations book in 2003 or something. And this is someone digging through the book and saying, hey, here's a thing. We could do that. We got a back guy.
I don't enjoy it. The packaging is cool. That's the only thing I have to say about it. The packaging is cool. I like the red that they did on the wings. The bat looks cooler, but then just the way he transforms and the bat feet and the way the robot feet are on the bat wings is it just bothers the living daylights out of me. And I got it because it was like, oh, it's out. Let me go get it. And then I have it. I'm just like, no, I don't want this.
Is there a joke to make about it bothers the daylight out of you and the bat dude Dracula can't daylight?
Probably, but I'm not witty enough for it.
I can't put it.
I do wonder though, Phil, that like if you hate that mold, why you would rebuy it, but
it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, let me see how I feel about it in hand, and then just. Again, it was one of those things where like people are like, oh, it's just showing up in stores, and I went on my Target app. I'm like, holy crap! It's at the Target by my house. I can go get it, and it just like it was an impulsive thing. And I think because I had the boys and myself that weekend, my wife was working, I had nothing else going on. I'm like, well, let's go and get it. And yeah,
I feel like if I said that there are several of the Kingdom figures that's happened to me on where I'm like at Walmart getting groceries or whatever, and they have whatever figure that I said I wasn't gonna get, and they have it.
That's a classic Lucas move. Classic Lucas.
And that's the second time in this podcast you've brought up that strategy.
You're so impulsive.
Yeah. I will say one other least favorite thing of 2021 is just sort of like, I feel like we did get a lot of toys, but I think especially on the higher end stuff, the MP and the third party, we didn't get that much of. And
You're correct.
I kind of miss it. And those are ones that in the past I would have normally been like, yeah, these are my toys of the year. And this year felt just underwhelmed in that regard.
MP and 3D were slowing down already before COVID, and then we had like all the shipping issues and just everything stopped. I think we're feeling that this year.
Yeah,
sure.
It's one of those, as I think most of us know, it takes time to make things, and I think that all the delays COVID's had like really caught up in 21. The delays were hitting to where like it pushed stuff out so much more. So I'm hoping 2022 we'll see the rebound, but I don't know how Omicron is hitting various toy factories in those countries, Vietnam and China mostly, I would assume.
Well, I feel like in general too that a lot of the third parties used to show stuff off like, pretty far in the future, and now they're not. Outside of X-Transbots, that apparently has given us their 5-year plan.
No, they said it's all going to come out by the end of 2022.
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
It's not. It's not.
Sure.
I mean, and for what's worth, Keith didn't put out anything for years either. But this was apparently his master plan, was to wait until a bunch of stuff was very far in production and then just overwhelm so that fans toys can't crap out renders for everything within 2 minutes. So
that's fair.
But yeah, no, it does kind of suck, and that's one of the things at TFCon that you miss a little bit. Like there wasn't those test shots and all that kind of thing. Like they had a couple, like they had the Moon Studios, they had that Grimlock that you were showing off, Rob. Like they had a couple other ones and whatnot, but it's like it wasn't the same as what it has been in years past.
We didn't have the exclusives either. There was really only one exclusive. And I think I was the only one who bought it.
Exclusive. So, oh yeah, I guess that
the Megatron was.
Right.
So I'm breaking all the rules. I have a list of grievances, toy related at least, and I'm going to go through them. And my number one is really going to make you mad, but I'm going to go. They're going to be like 10 seconds each. I'm going to go quick.
Okay.
Honeymoon words. Anyways, X-Transbots locks Target Masters. How can you make Target Masters so not fun? I love little toys. I love Target Masters. These things, I mean, they look nice, they're fine or whatever, but the transformations are bad. Like I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you fuck that up. Locke himself, of course, I have V2, so the quality's actually good. I love the aesthetics. I think he looks great in both modes, but the transformation is terrible. I did still get rid of Coot because I didn't like Coot either, and I think his looks are a lot better. So I went with it. I'm just going to be honest with myself. Masterpiece RC. Obviously there's the weird chest thing, which is just distracting because it's so often the huge neck thing. But even beyond that, like her back is broken. I mean, come on. And like they went so much to put all these curvy parts in her that isn't show accurate and just isn't necessary, I don't think. So I rebought Rouge from Orson. That's what I did. And I'm going to get Nightbird just to have the mold or whatever. And Nightbird's cool. So, and I'll just put this on eBay. And I don't know, it makes me sad to admit it, but I'm trying to be honest with myself about it. Lemon Tree Shockwave, I'm not getting. He's over there. It's such a cool idea. Mine has a couple of misassemblies. Went back and forth with support for months. They kept saying they were trying to send me out parts, and they were actually even reaching out like, hey, did you hear anything yet? And then eventually just died off, and they're never going to get it. And because of it, some of the parts don't fit together right. It's close enough, but it's disappointing. And also the transformation is a nightmare. And I don't know that they're ever going to put anything out. Next is one I didn't get, Arc. When I heard that they were doing an Arc transformer, I was like, that sounds really cool. And then I saw it, and I just noped on out of it. And yeah, like, I don't know. It went from 100 to 0 super quick. So I'm getting to my top 2. Number 2 is Unicron. This, again, things on this list doesn't mean they're terrible or they don't have merits or anything. It's just disappointing. And Unicron has a lot of disappointments for something that expensive that was that mass produced. Like the color being wrong on the mall, whatever. It's stuff we've said before. I mentioned it last week too. Like, even as Lucas said, it's a terrible transformer. It's not it's both parts forming and shell forming, and then stuff folds out. Like, it's, I don't know. It's just, you could have done so much better, but they didn't want to. But he does look pretty awesome in planet mode. So so again, it's not without merit, but it was disappointing after all these years to get a huge Unicron or whatever, and it's like, oh, you just took the easiest way out. What if we just shove all this shit together at various places and say, yeah, that totally looks good, when it doesn't. It's bad. Definitely prefer planet mode. At least it came with a stand. And to continue to top off breaking the rules, my number 1 disappointment isn't even out. That's a clue. Masterpiece Shuki.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. Here comes the pun. What a train wreck.
Oh, shout out to train wrecks.
Shout out to train wreck. That thing is so terrible. I don't mind toys being complex. I buy a lot of them. I'll fiddle them back and forth once or twice and then think, man, that transformation sucks. Looks cool on the shelf. And every now and again, I'll hit a masochist street and go grab one of those and redo them again. I don't know why. But that's something I was really looking forward to for a while. I know Peter was as well. I know Christian was as well. I'm not sure about other people. And like, Shuki himself doesn't look terrible. He's not perfect, but he's okay. But it looked really overly complex for a train robot, And I was like, well, maybe there's payoff. And we saw the silhouette of Raiden. And then people brightened it or whatever. And you're like, oh, this is bad. Proportions are bad. Like, the fist is at the edge of the arms. What are supposed to be like thin feet wings are hunks of the train rotated to the side with a bunch of gribbles in it. And they're trying to like arrange them to look kind of like the triangle things he has on his feet. And just, the hell are you thinking? Why are you doing? Nothing is good about it. The proportions are just miserable. He has like what? No waist, no hip, I think, right, Peter? Like,
and then you compare it to the Moon Studio, whose renders and prototypes have dropped, and they've shown off 4 of the 6, I believe, if not all 6 by now.
We've seen renders of all of it. We've seen
renders of all of them. We've seen protos of 4 of them.
Finished protos of 4.
The first couple are coming out like now.
Yeah, they're great. They're so much better.
Like, unless we get them in hand and they're complete garbage, like they're going to be somewhere in my list next year, almost assuredly. Again, maybe not. We'll see what next year brings. But
I know Paul at TFCon was handling it and said it was amazing. So I mean, that, of course, I don't know if what he.
Which Paul?
Brooklyn Paul.
Okay. Like, at first I was like,
that makes sense.
Paul? Now I was like, wait a minute, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So he was handling it at, like, he was in charge of like kind of posing the figures at the Chosen Prime booth, like at the end, and he just said it was a fantastic figure. So it sounds like that they really knocked that figure out of the park. So I mean, at least that's the good thing. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say to get third party over official. Like, I normally am the opposite, but man, like, those just look so good, and the official does not look great. So
yeah, and even like the chest isn't accurate at all. It just looks bad. Like, I don't know. Like, no reason. It's not a surprise they silhouetted it out. They didn't want to show it. They knew they fucked up. And this thing has been in the oven for how many years? Yeah. So I can't wait to bitch about this again next year once figures start coming. And like for the next 6 years, as these figures come out every year, I'm going to bitch about it. All right. So that's my disappointment.
So honorable. Oh wait, no, Peter. Sorry, you're airing your grievances.
I'm gonna air my grievances. The package on this thing is great. The toy is whatever. And when I finish my custom cancer, out of Mind Wipe, and I totally stole someone else's idea on that one. That's not mine. But yeah, they did a really nice one using G1 parts, so I bought a Junker G1, and it might get done. It might not. So yeah, I'm trying to find the positive. Fantastic packaging on the Dracula's figure. And here's a positive. Delightful packaging and much better than the Linkin Park Soundwave from a decade ago. This is
What are you holding up?
I'm holding up J Balvintron, from a network exclusive. Just take out all the vowels. Yeah, network. And it's a heroic Autobot with Decepticon insignias. So I don't know what the hell's going on. It says heroic Autobot on the top.
Oh,
and on the bottom. It says it.
The intern grabbed the wrong stock image.
The wrong clip art. And I don't know. It's a crazy colored Soundwave, and he comes with crazy colored cassettes that sort of work. I don't know. I'm disappointed that I had to spend money on this. I'm disappointed that Network crushed the boxes for a lot of people. Mine came slightly dinged. This is unforgivable for me, but for a lot of people, this would be like Magic Treasure, because the way some of them arrived and the previous exclusives have arrived were just horribly mangled. We have friends of the show who had their toys literally destroyed, and Network's like, I don't know what to do. Sorry about it. So that was disappointing. I hope there are no more Network exclusives. I wish J Balvin the best in his Transformers exclusive collaboration things in the future. Wait, are we still doing disappointments? Or are we doing honorable mentions? Or is it both?
You're the last
do honorable mentions
Continue with
after that. But yeah, if you have more grievances to air, Peter, you're more than welcome to.
I don't want to. I feel like I always complain about everything. I feel like I'm like Mr. Complaint Man, and I don't want to be, because I really love everything, even when I don't like it.
Don't worry, you're not Nick.
I'm not Nick. Why the hell is it like this? I don't know why it's like this.
Peter, you're on the internet. You're supposed to be complaining.
Okay.
That is true.
That was such a great Nick impersonation.
I love Nick.
I'm gonna love it.
Really was.
I love Nick. I miss Nick. But yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna clip that and just like make it my ringtone at the next TFCon.
No. Why the hell? Okay, so yeah, so I don't know. J Balvin was a disappointment, but it's not terrible. Dracula's isn't terrible. It's not a great mold, like Phil said, but the box is awesome. Whoever they hired for that intern, they knocked it out of the park.
Buy the Transformers for their boxes.
Some of us do.
But it is dope. Because of the Microcasters review, actually, I was like, is this thing available? And I found out that there was one in between my trips I've been making daily lately. There was a Target there that had it in stock, and they're like, can set for pickup tomorrow. And I was like, cool. And so I went and parked in the spot, and they brought it to me. Thanks. Neat.
Speaking of Target and disappointment, I'm disappointed about the availability of this thing. This never showed up in my local area.
It's the World's Collide set, FYI. The World's Collide set.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the World's Collide set. It never showed up in my local area. Christian got me one, and a friend of the show, Jeremy, got me another one. And then Black Arachnia sold me their Fangry. And so that's how I ended up getting what I needed for me and what I needed for the boy. So friends hooked us up, and we appreciate it.
It was fairly plentiful in Chicagoland.
Uneven distribution.
Yeah.
I guess it happens. And so honorable mentions?
All right, honorable mentions. I feel bad that we had this top show and we had this whole Kingdom line, and none of them made my top. So I'll just throw one of them. Like, I think this Dinobot mold was the best of the line for me. I really liked it, and I don't know, of course, this is the one that I could find to grab and whatnot. But I would say if there's one to grab, that Dinobot is a really nice looking figure. All of the Beast Wars figures are all good for the most part. Like, I've enjoyed most of them. I think Cheetor is probably the weakest one, but for the most part, or maybe the Scorponok. but like they're all good. It's just not something where like none of them made my top 5. Like if we did a top 10, I'd probably have some of the figures in there. So
yeah, I mean, I agree, Lucas. I really like the Dinobot, especially the head sculpt of Dinobot. The Raptor mode it was like, I'm a Raptor, and like that sort of knocked him out from maybe being in the top 5. I showed him earlier the Fans Hobby Night Beat. I'm a big fan of it. The transformation is maybe a little bit more complex than it needs to be, but I think it's a great looking toy. The Shattered Glass line has been really pleasantly surprising me. I mean, for a line of repaints, I have yet to pick up one that I haven't been like really pleasantly surprised how much I've enjoyed it. Even some of the ones that I wasn't looking forward to, like Megatron. Like, yeah, this is a nice looking toy. So, I'd say.
And it comes with this great comic that everyone loves. It's so good.
I mean, if I lose power and like burn all my wood, I can light that on fire to keep my house warm.
You should do that before that. Just save some electricity.
I mean, the one toy that I don't know, no one's really mentioned yet is the red slag here. I mean, this red non-transforming slug is really awesome and amazing. And this is not a transformer. This is a Beast of the Mesozoic Torosaurus. And I got it this weekend, and I can't stop picking it up because it's huge. And
he's been wanting to talk about it on the show constantly. And he's just like, how can I fit this in?
Yeah. Phil was asking me, he's like, how many non-Transformers can I put in my top list here?
I got 4 of these. I got 7 of these, of which I opened 4 already. And not this one, but 7 different Ceratopsians. And this is the biggest one. And like, my dad was at my house yesterday and he was like, asking me, he was like, oh, is this for your 1-year-old to play with? I'm like, no, it is not. A, he will hurt himself, and B, it's far too expensive for him to play with. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous toy. So, Beast of the Mesozoic makes amazing dinosaur toys. So I'll stop with that.
No, keep talking. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
So Ron in the chat mentions asking if there's honorable mentions for Kingdom Cyclonus or Core Soundwave, and I feel like if there's a top 10, that they would both make my top 10. The Core Soundwave is by far the best core class figure in my opinion. Like there are just a few things again, like after you have the third party legends and whatnot to kind of go back to the Hasbro ones, even though they're really nice figures for $10. Like it looks really nice and all that. Doesn't have the same level of articulation obviously as some of the third party ones and whatnot, but that is a cool toy. And Cyclonus is a really fun Cyclonus too. So I feel kind of bad that that's not my top 5 either, but
Cyclonus might have been one of my more disappointing Transformers of the year. I feel like I'm counter everyone's opinion with him.
Why
I don't
do you
like
hate?
his. I just feel it's not what I want him to be. He's not the sleek spaceship like I want Cyclonus to be. I think he's got the same problem like Blur has, where he's got the Jay Leno chin, and it gets close. But the fact that it gets close and doesn't stick the landing just totally disappoints me.
But I feel the same way about the Galvatron as well, that man, it's so close. I don't like the weathering or whatever that they put on him, and then like my copy that I got was the misassembled arms, and I just haven't fixed it yet. So I may like it more when it's not, but that's kind of another one of those ones where it's like, man, it's so close.
That's why I canceled the regular Kingdom Galvatron and bought this one. This is a great toy that I considered putting in my top 5. This is, the canon mode leaves a bit to be desired, and I think that's why I left it out. But as a robot, this is a really fun robot.
Yeah, Scourge.
And to Zaldron's point, Scourge was a good toy. It's just, I don't know, wasn't top 5 worthy.
I mean, again, that's the thing that's tough. But at the same time, I feel like I get that Scourge toy, and they did a fantastic job on it. I don't feel like I'm ever going to have to buy another Scourge. I think that I would much rather have that toy than the X-Transbots one, because the feet on the X-Transbots one were a goddamn nightmare.
It's funny how like one part of the transformation like sours that whole toy. Like I'm not
Yes.
disagreeing with you. Is the thing like it's just like that part
Like,
is so bad. The rest is fine.
90% the rest of it thing was a really fun toy and all that is like great figure, and those damn feet. I still have nightmares trying to transform that thing back and forth.
All right. Are you got any more honorable mentions, Phil?
No, my big giant dinosaur was where I stopped.
All right.
It's huge. Wait. Let me just show you again the size.
I'm going to move along to Transformers.
This is my forearm. Look at how this is literally from tip of the horn to the tail goes from my fingertip down to my elbow.
For those of you who haven't met Phil in person, Phil's considerably shorter than Rob. That would probably be about Rob's hand size. It's about.
I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not a small guy.
You're taller than I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a giant hunk of plastic in the form of an awesome dinosaur.
I have loved that line from afar, vicariously through you guys, and it's something I must not engage.
No, don't.
I must not.
Don't. Because the T-Rex, the Tyrannosaur line that they've got out now, it's like those are really expensive. But they have a Dino Riders homage to Tyrannosaurus. It's 27 inches long.
All right, I'm gonna go. I realized I was grabbing my honorable mentions, and I realized I did miss one of the disappointments that I think we all have. So we'll do it really quickly. That's Jackpot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't have Jackpot yet, so I'm still waiting. I am holding out hope that my head is good on mine.
And that's what it is, because like you guys were talking about some of your earlier Studio Series figures and how great the head sculpts are, and like Hasbro and Takara, for that matter, like generally knock that out of the park. And I mean, I can do the thing where I put it up here and it's blurry and messy and everything, but they're all misaligned that we've seen so far, and they just, I don't know, like the rest of the figures.
Degrees of misalignment.
I don't know. I don't know if it's consistent or not, but it's a bummer because I love Action Master homages and all the various Asterix Master homages. I always dig on that. So that was a pretty big disappointment. But I got a decent list of honorable mentions. Again, I'm going to go through mine quick. But like Origins B, it's been said ad infinitum, but like that's what we kind of wanted more out of Siege. Was this whole pre-Earth Cybertron modes. But I was glad they did it. It's cool. I was happy to have it. Christian hooked me up. Hasbro Sandstorm. I love unproduced things, and that is fun to me. And it's stupid. It's completely dumb because like if this had been released at retail, back in the day, I wouldn't buy it, and I wouldn't get it, and I wouldn't care. I wouldn't have the original. I probably wouldn't get an homage to it, But you didn't make that? Well, now I have to buy that reference to it. I don't know. It works for me.
That was Paul.
Yeah. See our most recent oof, if you wonder what that's about. Kind of similar to that is the Black Arachnia that was in the Worlds Collide set. I know a lot of people like stealing her legs off of it, but that's the package colors, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, I don't know. I enjoy those kind of references. MMC's Optimus was just an excellent figure. Their IDW early Optimus thing, I can't remember, Optus Plexus or something.
Plexus, yeah.
It's just a great action figure. Transformation's fine. He has some really cool inner workings or whatever, but it's an Optimus figure, which just kind of made me I'm just kind of bored with Optimus, but like it is a great figure. So it is worth mentioning. They even sent it out to like actual action figure reviewers and stuff, like because they knew they had made. I don't know, it's an excellently engineered toy. You won't be disappointed in it. Vans Toys Sea Spray I wanted to mention simply because their first one was so bad. I mean, I didn't even buy it. I knew from the start, I was like, what is that? I'm not buying that, right? So just kind of kudos to them for coming back to it and doing just a much better version. On my honorable mentions is Dracula. And simply because, again, I don't care about the box, but the box is really fun. And I enjoy oddball weird stuff, even if it doesn't always hit. Oddball weird stuff is fun, and I like fun So do more things that are fun. Not everybody has to love it. Nobody would have picked that, and it's, I don't know, it's fun. I think it's cool. I like it. Of course, I have to mention it. New Age's Galvatron with
Was that
the
this year?
yeah.
I feel like you've been showing that off forever.
All year, which has basically been forever. It's both been
Can
longest and shortest year of my life at the same time.
Rob, can you do something for me?
No.
Can you put a hook on that and put that on your Christmas tree as an ornament?
It would totally work, wouldn't it?
I'm hanging mine.
That's
outside
actually a
of
good
my
idea. I like that. I might actually do that. Because we have some plastic hooks and stuff that we use for ornaments.
There you go. Just drill through it.
Yeah, it's Grand Galvatron, or as I've always called him, Galvacron, and it's the dumbest thing, and I love it. It's so good. It's a Headmasters reference if you haven't seen it. Headmasters is a terrible cartoon. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, the dub is bad. It's a terrible cartoon. Like, even without the dub, it's bad. The story is stupid. It is just the dumbest thing ever. It's just the voice acting. The dub makes it even worse. But watch it in subtitles. It still sucks.
Watch a bunch of rerun animation of Headmasters getting their heads on and changing heads over and over. It gets very repetitive with the animation with that stuff.
There's a lot more to it than that, you guys, and we'll get to it at some point.
Yes,
believe us.
Yeah, I mean, it is one though. It's at least so bad that it's entertaining. Like, I will say that, like, as opposed to like Cybertron, which is so bad that you just fell asleep and didn't even watch it.
Oh wait, can I say biggest disappointment? Freaking Netflix shows. Come back to that.
Oh God.
We talked about that last week, in our general 2021 wrap up. Yeah, no one had anything good to say. My last two honorable mentions are MMC's Rung. Like, it's not a stellar enough thing to like crack my top 5, but I am so happy that it exists. We talked about it on Microcasters. We all kind of had the same thing, like, it's well done, it's great. Maybe it's a little too small, and it seems a little pricey for what it is, but we're all like, if you love Rung, you want this figure and you don't care, right? And that's where I'm just so happy they did it, so I'm good. And my last honorable mention is MMC's Star Convoy, the one Peter had, and it is it's masterpiece scale. It's meant to go with that, but obviously it doesn't feel like any other masterpiece figure because it's obviously made a lot cheaper. Is the truth, which made his price really good for a huge chunk of plastic like this in 2021.
He was like what, just like $100 or something, like 110, something like that. Yeah,
it was 140, maybe, but maybe, yeah. But it's a lot of toy, and the aesthetic is great. The transformation's fine. It's nothing amazing. There was a quality issue, but MMC fixed it for everybody. So like, I can't ask for more, but you can tell it's not typical MMC plastic. It's a little cheaper. There's accent paint, but that's it. But I don't care. Like, it's not like a piece of crap by any means. It's still really cool. I'm so glad they made it, and I will continue to buy whatever they make Omogen crap from, Zone and Victory or whatever. So yeah, just happy it exists. MMC keeps making stuff that I'm just happy they made, and I'm glad it exists. And which makes me sad because I'm worried they're going to stop. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Do you think they'll do a Battle Gaia and a Guard City out of their Perfection Series stuff? Maybe.
Well, they're doing G2. Minnesota.
They're doing G2 first, right? But
yeah.
Do you think maybe
if they did it as a TFCon exclusive? But like, how many people besides like me and you are going to buy it?
I mean, if they made it a TFCon exclusive and it was like a big box set and it was $800, we would do it. We would do it.
We'd do it. That'd be awesome. Like, Battle Guy is a lot less interesting. Or not Battle Guy. Guard City's a lot less interesting because I feel it looks pretty similar. Like, I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's the same, right? But it's like, okay, Hotspot's red now. Right. The rest of them are kind of like, oh, they're still basically white.
They're all pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
but as opposed to
oddly,
G2, G2 signed me up.
Guard City got knocked off a lot in the late 90s and early 2000s.
As you know, I have the knockoff. Yeah. And they made an oversized one knockoff that is really expensive. Yeah. So under your honorable mentions, I'm all wrapped.
Honorable mentions. Someone mentioned, no, I think Rob mentioned it as a disappointment. It's one of my honorable mentions. I love Action Masters. I love them. They should have waited until they made an Overdrive figure and then made the jackpot out of the Overdrive figure, because his head is clearly a Ferrari. It's clearly a Testarossa. Look at it. Yeah. But they did it out of the Porsche, and I don't care. Whatever. I wish his chests weren't. I wish his chests were more like the Action Master. Honorable mention for just paying any attention to Jackpot. Now pay attention to Skyfall and Rad and Rollout and Tread Shot and Croc and whoever else. Give me
like. I put it on my disappointments. You put it on your honorable mentions, but we feel the same. You know, it's like I was so excited to get an Action Master. It's the only one of those Amazon waves that I just like immediately bought. And then it's like, why is his head so bad? Why? Why'd you do that? You pooped in my pool.
Is it blurry?
No, it's coming in. It's horrible because we can see it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really uneven. But I'm disappointed with that, but I like his goofy little RoboCop Ferrari face. Sights is fine. He doesn't transform like I want him to. The gun is, yeah. The gun is.
They have it. It's obvious from the colors.
It's sights enough.
Yeah.
The gun is fine.
If you squint, it's sights.
Yeah, the colors line up. Yeah, exactly. So if you can't see details at all and all you can see is colors, it's like, oh, yeah, it's totally sights. We're good to go. Same thing with him.
It's a bird-looking thing.
Yeah.
That'll do, Pig. That'll do.
Yeah. Other honorable mentions. There's this guy. I got the sweep. I have 7 Scourges because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get any sweeps, because I figured the sweeps were all going to be Target 2-pack exclusives, and they still might be next year. Who knows? Under Studio Series. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. But I was worried that I wouldn't get any sweeps, so I bought a bunch of extra Scourges. Now I got to figure out how to get rid of them. And then I bought a bunch of sweeps because I'm dumb. But now I'll be able to make if I want to merge them, I can have like both hands open or both hands shut or something stupid. I don't know. This is a great mold. Very much fun. And then
What's the difference between Scourge and Sweep? Are they like different shades of blues and
different
stuff?
Shades of blue.
Different shades of blue. One has an open hand on the right. One has an open hand on the left. So you can swap their hands around and make like both claw hands or both gun holdy hands, whatever you want to do. And then there's this guy. I have, I don't know, 10 or so of this guy. I'm not the record holder or anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it's Nah. He's great.
Oh, hell no. So dumb. I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Should. You should. But
own it.
Yeah, fuck you. Hell no.
Oh, no. I was buying the Cyberverse Nas and like painting them to make them look more Gen 1-y, and I have a bunch of the third-party ones, and then I have the official one from Titan's Return a few years ago, and now I'm buying a bunch of these. So I'm gonna have a whole menagerie of mismatched Nas, which is how they should look, because they shouldn't all be identical.
I said that'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. I'm pairing them with the Pit of Judgment and whatever else is going on, and yeah, I think that's about it for my honorable mentions.
I just want to come back and amend my honorable mentions. I said Shattered Glass. I just want to amend that, both after Rob and Peter's comments. Just the repaints in general this year have been really fun. Like the stuff that we got from the Generation Selects. Like I got my Art Fire the other day. Like this is a great looking toy. It's an awesome mold. This is I think a little more striking repaint. As I said earlier, the Shattered Glass toys have been really great. The two cone heads that we got as repaints this year from Generation Selects were a lot of fun. So yeah, just the repaints across the board were, kudos to Hasbro for getting more out of some of these molds and just making me want another piece of plastic just painted differently than the other same exact piece of plastic that I have.
Well, another figure that I should have put in my honorable mentions is that G2 Megatron, the green one, because the Earthrise Megatron that came out it's like, it's okay, whatever. But the G2 version of that looks really fantastic, and I mean, it's the paint and the colors and all that. Like, I almost wonder if they like someone made that, and then they're like, well, I guess we're gonna have to release it as Megatron 2 because like we can't just do a G2 one.
But you can, but they think they can't. So instead, they're just gonna make 800 Megatron releases. Hope you like tanks.
Or spaceships that don't really look like spaceships, but can also still be a tank.
All right, so you're number one, Lucas.
All right, number one. Well, you stole my thunder. But my number one figure. Oh,
I think I know what it is. Sorry, I don't.
I think I know what it is too.
I want to say that I think I know what it is.
I'm breaking the mold of like all the mainline figures that I have, and I'm gonna have a third party figure as my number one.
Yeah,
but it's this Optimus, and man, I love this so much. It is just the perfect figure, and for $110 was the price. Like especially in this day and age, like I don't know how they did it. So I've been looking for the perfect I collect MMC and Planet X and whatnot, and I've been trying to have an Optimus to scale with that line for like years, and the nothing has just worked for me really. And then they released this figure, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Like it is such a fun action figure. I really hope they release more figures like this. Because the articulation is just crazy. And like, I'm not one, like I know Anna is the one where that she puts like all this crazy, poses and whatever else, all that. I normally don't do that, but like with this figure, I was sitting there posing it like crazy because because
it wants you to.
Yes.
Like, why aren't you posing me? Do it.
It's like he can touch his toes, like, and bend over. I mean, it is just such a fantastic figure, and I think that this is like I guess if this is the capper of the reformatted line, I mean, it's just fantastic. Like and there's a black version I think coming out. A lot of people, I know Paul's been interested too, and I was telling him, I was like, no, run, go get it. Like, don't even think about it. Like, it is just this mold is amazing. So,
do you think that toy is going to see a reissue with the new mold head that's coming with the black one, where his faceplate is kind of ripped away, or he's like yelling at the Senate? That scene, how do we get rid of you? Because that's a missed opportunity.
I'm going to guess no, because it's going to be if it'd be the same colors, I don't think they will.
I mean, I could see it if they end up needing to re-release it. I could see them doing that,
I missed it. I skipped it. Frankly, I skipped it. I was like, I don't want another Optimus Prime, and I passed on it. And
like, I almost passed on it. I almost didn't even buy it because I'm like, Optimus.
Yeah, but everyone
can not get it anymore.
No, I haven't looked. I don't know, where am I going to put it? I'm in disaster mode here. But yeah, not that I don't want it, and everyone has said nothing but wonderful things about it. So
yeah,
it's boring because it's Optimus. It's excellent.
It's not boring, Rob. Let me stop you there. I'm angry that he was only in your honorable mention because he is my number one toy as well. I had a feeling Lucas and I would have some
God dang the same. You ask if one ice cream cone, both say yes. They are doing
this toy is just phenomenal. To me, I had a hard time finding a top 5 this year because I don't feel like I said, there weren't as many of the higher caliber toys this year. And so for those of you listening, I'm holding up the same MMC IDW Optimus Prime as Lucas that Rob only had in his honorable mentions because it's an Optimus Prime, whatever, Rob. So it's just an awesome toy. I mean, from the standpoint of all the articulation, all the personality that it has, because of all the posability and articulation that it has so much personality. You can have it looking like super serious, like he is about to blast Megatron, or you can just kind of cock the head to the side and it's like, oh, I'm gonna blast Megatron, huh? What? And it's like I told you not to put question marks. He reads everything that's on the teleprompter. And it's an awesome toy. Like hands down, my favorite Transformer that came out in 2021. This is going out with a bang. If this is one of the last reformatted toys that they do, I don't think I will buy the black version, but man, they went above and beyond with the black version, with giving it that different head with the taken off faceplate there. That looks stunning. So MMC just made an incredible toy, and you can say what you want about Optimus being, tired and boring and you're sick of them, but like this is, I don't know if I've got an Optimus toy that is better than this. All the different versions and iterations of Optimus, G1, Unicron trilogy, animated, the first edition Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime has always been one of my favorite toys for years, and this surpasses that. And honestly, I've never even transformed this guy. I've never even put him into his truck mode. It just is I've had so much fun just posing him in robot mode that I've never really felt the need to transform. He's that great of a toy. I think he's everything that like sort of, the Red series or the Super 7 series is kind of trying to be with superposable Transformers. He does all of that, and he also transforms. So I can't speak highly enough about that toy.
There you go.
He's still available at Toy Dojo. So
yeah.
There you go.
I'm surprised, like, just because MMC stuff is usually made. I mean, maybe Toy Dojo ordered more of them, I guess.
I think that for the most part, I mean, this was a bigger release. Like, they released a lot of these, so I'm not, necessarily that surprised. But again, like, for the money, like, I don't know. I've never, I don't know, compared to like MP44 or whatever, like the posability on that. I know you and Paul always talk about that, but like how this compares to MP44.
They're both really excellent. Like they're both just super duper posable. I don't know if one has anything over the other. I can't remember. Maybe butterflies are better on the MP. I'm not sure. But like,
yeah. But like again, for price, like price to value.
I don't even think you have to say for price.
You don't
even
find,
have to say that. It's just a great figure.
But what I'm saying is like you just don't find figures that like. I don't know. Like it's hard to find a good value. Like the Rung figure was 120 or whatever. This is 110. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where again, like it is just, I don't know. I can't say good enough things about it. I really hope that they do more figures like this.
I don't think, Rob, to your point, I don't think you have to find something that is a good value, but I'd say the fact that this toy is also at the price that it is, and it's such a great toy, makes it even, I have more steam for it, that they were able to produce such a great toy and keep the price as it was. Is the plastic quality as good as what you're going to get with MPs? No, but it is still an amazing, amazing toy. Maybe that's excellent. The only complaint is this the MMC plastic, which feels slightly, I don't know if brittle is the right word, but
it's kind of softer. Like I don't find it brittle. Yeah, I'd find it kind of the other way around because it's soft, but I don't know. It has a distinct feel to it, other than the not Star Convoy, which feels different.
But again, like I feel like the finish on this is really good, and like again, just having compared to like all these other reformatted figures, like I think the finish on this is better than those. Like I can't find a lot of faults with this figure, and so. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like this might be one of the top figures of my collection overall. Like this and some of those DJD guys and whatnot, so.
I mean, it's not Power of the Prime Starscream? All right. My number one figure is J Balvin Soundwave. I didn't even put that one in my disappointments. I don't know. It was a thing that existed. It was a G1 repaint, so I bought it. It was dumb, but
I thought
whatever.
You were doing a whole PSA of why kids should stay off drugs.
So my number one, there's been some repaints of it, and so I picked the one that was closest, but honestly, I think I like it better than the original one, also a little bit. But that is Masterpiece Thundercracker. So Starscream and Thundercracker came out, and on the one hand, like Rob picking an official Masterpiece is number one. What a basic bitch. Fuck you. You're right, but yeah, it's the heart likes what the heart likes, and I don't have Paul's like ultra Starscream fetish to to sway me on how I feel about the figure. I really, really love the figure. It's fun. Like, again, that doesn't mean it's perfect. Unlike the MMC Optimus, it's basically perfect. Like, there's not really anything you can really complain about it.
Yeah, why was he in your honorable mention category?
Because it's what speaks to me. It's what
no. Keep
what
going.
tinkles my heart.
I'll let you.
Tinkles
I
my heart.
made my point.
Okay, Kanye. But the new Masterpiece Seeker, I don't know. It really tickles my fancy. I loved how there's a lot about the transformation I really like. I know a lot of people bring up the Deformation Star one or whatever, but everyone hates that toy transforming it though. This comes in plane mode, so I had to transform it back into robot mode, and it was great. And I don't know, I really love the engineering on it. I feel when Takara does its best, I feel it has multiple masterpiece moments. I do think it kind of redefined how Starscreams are done, although Deformation Space did kind of some of the same with at least, hey, we can hide the tail wings now, right? We can have feet that aren't junky. But yeah, I don't know. He's just great. It doesn't have a waist swivel. That's dumb. I don't know why it doesn't. And I'm not saying it's perfect. There have been some issues with the ankles, but mine's been standing like this for days on my desk, and Starscream's been back there standing up fine, completely unsupported, not leaning over. Looks great for months. I'm not discounting the people that have issues with it. I'm just saying I think it was a bit exaggerated. The knee knit ratchets do need to be tighter or whatever. It's like I can nitpick it, but overall, I don't know. It's great. They just look so good. They look so good, and the engineering's fun. I can't say enough good things. I'm really excited about it.
I think the thing that I like the most about those is that the personality. Like, it looks like they have personality. They just jump out of the screen, both them and Starscream and whatnot. And so, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I actually debated about getting those figures, and but I'm like, no, I can't do it because I know I'm gonna get back into Masterpiece if I do that and whatnot. So I didn't, but it is a really cool looking figure.
I mean, it's not for you, knowing enough about what you like and what you collect. Like, you would get it and you'd be bored of it in a month or whatever. And you'd be like, why'd I buy a Masterpiece figure? What am I doing with my life? But for the rest of us that are into Masterpieces, it's for the most part Takara on their game. Transformation is great. The engineering is fantastic, I think. There's some joints are a little looser than they should be, which is a sad fact, but the rest of it's cool. And there's just a lot of cool little gimmicks and fun bits or whatever. I don't know. Like, originally I didn't know how to think about it until I got the Starscream in hand. And I was just like, oh, this is cool. This is Rob. This is Rob's alley. This speaks to me. So yeah, I'm excited for Skywarp coming out too. And I don't know what they're going to do for the Coneheads. I don't know if I would rebuy them in this mold, just because, and it's a sunk cost fallacy. It's dumb. But I bought those Coneheads for like 200 something each, and somehow they end up getting hard clearance, because they were the TT Mall exclusives. And they're like hard clearance to $70. Like, they weren't knocked off. Interest was not there.
Well, there was was it Ramjet that had QC issues right out of the gate?
There were some shoulder issues, and I don't know if mine had those or not. I transferred mine back and forth, and it was fine, but it could have been like, if I had looked like, this is misaligned, and it just looked close enough and I didn't notice it. And I mean, I haven't messed with it in years at this point. But so yeah, I don't know if I care about the Coneheads enough to rebuy them at $200 something each or whatever, and then take the loss on those. Those are probably good enough. But no, he's dope.
I do feel bad that we didn't mention the Hasbro Toy of the Year in our list at all. So just let you know, Enot says honorable mention that Kingdom Tigatron that he just got it yesterday, and in hand he is nice. So Anna actually got one for me, and so I don't have mine in hand yet, but I will hopefully
you'll have the Toy of the Year before the end of the year, now that the Toy of the Year has been released.
Right. Right. It did make it this year, so.
Rob, I'm really glad you brought up the MP Seeker mold, because I've got both of them. I haven't got around to opening them. I don't know if I can, or if I got to sell them, just, financial reasons, whatever. But like Thundercracker, especially that light blue, that almost powder blue that they use for them, it's so great in terms of how it looks compared to the cartoon. I mean, the original MP Thundercracker was that deep dark blue, more like the toy. I get it, but this powder blue is just so great looking, and I think I agree with you in terms of picking Thundercracker over Starscream. Not that Starscream's bad, but Thundercracker just pops a little bit more every time I see him. And then when you have those like purple null rays in the I don't know if his guns are also called null rays, I don't know. But when you put those blast effects in his guns, like that like magenta and the blue just looks so great together.
Yeah. One fun thing too is that the mold comes with 3 faces, so you can give each of your Seekers a different face. I know Anna would appreciate that. Not that she's going to buy this, but
yeah.
And it is fun. I do like having to be able to put some expression with them and kind of liven up my display a bit.
If it came with a zombie face and a vampire face, then she'd buy it.
I actually think Anna
if
was
the arms
debating,
could pop off, and
I think Anna was actually debating about getting this mold, but then decided against it. So
again, I wouldn't.
And I don't want to.
I wouldn't recommend it to her. I think
it's collecting.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it is not a 5-minute transformation, and I feel like she likes things she can transform quickly. Like, I think the engineering is great, but I think she'd be like, it's a mess.
Yeah. I do feel bad. Ron mentioned about Kingdom Blaster showing up too. And I wonder if it's going to be one of those ones that don't make any lists because it's like too late for the list now. And then it's like going to be released this year. And so then, do you put it on next year's list? But like from all accounts, it seems like he's better than the Soundwave that was released, and he's just like a really, really nice toy. So I'm very excited for that.
But so they're doing that where the cassette is wrong and it's like translucent or whatever, so you can rebuy it later. Just
Dude,
out of
give
the
me
gate.
give me all the cassettes, all of them. Just I don't care.
They will, but they're not going to give you them in the right colors until much later.
Fine. That's fine. Whatever. Just give them all to me. I'll take all the cassettes.
Yeah, he looks much. Eject looks a ton better than Rumble and Frenzy did from the Earthrise set.
I don't know. I mean, I'm always happy with cassettes, anyways. I'm easy to please on small figures.
I don't know. The Earthrise cassettes were pretty bad.
Yeah, they're still fun.
They
transform into basic shapes, okay?
Yeah, Laserbeak was fine.
But Ravage and Rumble and Frenzy were bad.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Hopefully they can redo them all, and I'll buy them all. So
yeah,
Peter, what's your number one?
Sights.
I don't think that's accurate.
My number one's been mentioned a couple times, and he's my number one because I do like him that much as a character and as a concept and as who he is. I can't remember his name, but it's this guy.
Got it.
It's that one guy. The Doc. It's wrong. From MMC, reformatted Mentis, and he showed up first at TFCon, and he's a Planet Steel Express. You can get him wherever you get your toys. I haven't opened him because, again, beating the horse of death or head dead, whatever. Idiom. Yeah, I haven't opened him because I haven't, but I'm excited to open him. I got to take a good look at the one at TFCon, and I got mine, and we are happy. And yeah, just go down a nice level note. Whew.
If you like Rung, you should get it. It's the best Rung we're ever going to get. It's a little more expensive than maybe it should be, but it's Rung. Go buy it.
If you like robot psychologists that turn into some weird shapes that are also the gods, then yeah, go buy it.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Speaking of, book club.
Oh, yeah. Before we get to book club, just
fine, Rob.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Just I wanted to real briefly, and if people just want to go to bed and then be done with it, we can also be done with it. But the Voltron box thing came out. That was fun. Beast Box had some really cool releases. Their Ninja Turtle Beast Box came out, and those are really stupid and fun. And you can put two of them together to make the party wagon. How fun is that? I didn't have any of my lists or anything this year, but I don't know. I still do like that line a lot. But also, I wanted to talk briefly about what are we looking forward to in 2022. Again, it's already late. We've been going 2 hours, but just
should that be a separate episode?
It could be, but I could also talk about it in 5 minutes. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
Zeta.
Yeah, Zeta Raiden's number one on my list.
Yeah.
MMC's Defensor, I think, is going to be cool. Hasbro's Black Zarek will be cool. And I'm also excited about what X-Transbots might put out. You know, like, will Jinrai come out this year?
Jinrai, Desirus, Galvatron.
Oh, Desirus and Jinrai were on my list. It's like my top two I hope come out from them, but also like Punch Counterpunch, the Omnibots, other stuff, the White and Black car. I just blanked on their names hard. the Battle Chargers. Whatever.
Good old White and Black car.
Yeah, the Battle Chargers, whatever they are. Yeah, so.
There's
cool stuff.
You can go through this quickly, Rob, but I think there's a lot that we can talk about for 2022. I would say
that's all for me.
For
that's
sake
like my
of content, let's make it a whole episode.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, well, there's a preview then of some of mine and Peter's if we get to be on the show.
There you go. Tune into. So the next couple weeks, I think we're gonna do pre-records. I know next week for sure is gonna be pre-record, and I think we're trying to set up. We're doing an interview next week, and then we're hoping to set up another interview as well. So just depending on how things work out, TFYLP will be pre-record. So I can't remember if Microcasters, if we're gonna have one, because we were kind of debating on having one and whatnot this week with it being so close to the holidays. So
I mean, people need to celebrate Festivus. We can't do an episode on Festivus. Yeah,
we did air our grievances already, so
a couple weeks in a row now. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think like every week this show is airing our grievances.
And Rob and I are working on something. We both are pretty busy with other things right now, but we're working on something. So
I just need to find time to put it together because I want to prep a little.
Yeah.
So at least for the beginning, right? And then after that, it'll be whatever. But
yep. So look forward to that in the new year for sure.
So, but
Lucas said at the end we can talk about non-Transformers, and I want to talk about another non-Transformer, and the Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse Shadowcat and Colossus. Like, this is the Build-A-Figure, and this kind of recreates a cover with her standing on his shoulders, and like in the actual cover, she's like phasing through his body. This is just awesome.
How does she stand on there? Because it looks like it's meant to. It's not just like you've posed it on there, right?
So he's got like these suspenders on his back, and you can put her foot. I don't know if I hope they did it intentionally. You can put her foot in one of the suspenders, and she can stand on his back, and it sits on a shelf just like this, and it's awesome.
Because it looked really stable. Like I thought there was pegs almost.
I was shocked when I was able to pull this pose off. I had seen people do it online. Yeah. And I'm like, there's got to be like some like trick that they did. Like, no, you can pull off this pose. Like I don't have my hand on her whatsoever. And it's just hanging out there. And this is just an awesome line. They had another.
I did not hit her. I did not. But you said you didn't have your hand on her. Made a room reference. Sorry.
Yeah. They did the Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth. With the previous wave came with Wild Child, so the two of them as a pair, and these two as a pair, just hitting some 90s nostalgia sweet spots there for me. So as much as Peter got his 90s nostalgia, Ravage got that sweet spot tickled. These guys, that I was not paying attention to Beast Wars in the 90s. I was neck deep in everything comic book related back then.
I thought you were gonna say something like I was too busy chasing chasing girls and
Oh God, no, I was
fortune
a
or
nerd.
something.
I
But you're
was a
like,
different
you're like,
kind
nah,
of-
comics. And I was like,
I was a different kind of nerd than Peter was back then. I was a comic book nerd. I was like going to school in 8th grade wearing my Age of Apocalypse X-Men T-shirt, trying not to get beat up.
with those tiny little arms.
Yeah, T-Rex arms.
Yeah, I was trying to think myself of like figures that weren't Transformers, and honestly, like I didn't get a lot. I know it's something that my wife tries to make sure that I don't collect other lines, just because it can all get out of control really quickly.
Oh, yeah, so quickly.
A couple of the items that I was really tempted by this year is they had that Black Series Mando helmet that looked really neat. That was one, and then the Ghostbusters. They just had the HasLab, the
Proton
pack, and
Yeah.
it took all of my willpower not to order that thing.
Is the helmet something like? Is it like a replica, like you could wear it type thing?
Yeah.
So
like
you buy
silver.
both of those and you bring them to the bedroom. All of a sudden, your wife's into it. She's glad you bought it.
So, but yeah, no, I really wanted to, and I feel like I'm probably, I may potentially regret the Ghostbusters. But again, it's like you said, Rob, it's like it's an issue of space. Like I just don't have the space to put that up.
As my friend also pointed out with the Proton pack, is you have to buy the wand separately.
Yeah, that is true.
Machine Robo.
See, I don't know. I always feel like that's Transformers, even though I know it's not. But it was.
I would have no problem including any transforming toy in my top 5 if I wanted to, including stuff from like the Action Toys stuff. Where the Beast Box or whoever's doing the Machine Robo. Isn't that Action Toys? Yeah, it's Action Toys does that, and 52 Toys does the Beast Box stuff. Like if I wanted to, I'd have no problem putting it in my list. And y'all can fight me about it, but nobody's gonna.
I was excited to see those figures come out this year from Action Toys after like we assumed none of them were going to come out. So like there's only a handful they haven't released of the prototypes that we've seen. Come on, now.
Not Turbo.
Yeah, Turbo is really the biggest missing one right now. So
Pro Truck Racer. Turbo and Pro Truck Racer. If you watch the Revenge of Kronos cartoon, Pro Truck Racer is a dude that shows up more often than Turbo. Just saying, he's a real character. He's
sorry.
a real character.
He's got depth.
I apologize, Peter. I have not watched that cartoon, so
it's coming out on Blu-ray next year, man. Get your pre-orders in now at rightstuffanime.com. When you go to it from your work computer, since they sell other videos, he gets flagged as adult, and then you have to have an awkward conversation with your supervisor about what you've been surfing at the office.
How would you know that?
Yay, 2021!
Woo!
That is awesome. So is it English subtitles?
Subs, yeah. It's the full series, the Revenge of Kronos series, and then the OVAs that followed it. Yeah.
Cool.
Book club?
All right.
What other kind of videos do they sell there, Peter?
Yeah, what's the other videos that you're surfing there?
Why don't you just
I wasn't surfing. It's just the website itself.
And just walk away.
Yeah. I someone asked me something about, they were asking me like, what was that movie in the 90s with the cockroaches that dance? And I was like, oh, Mike's Apartment. And they looked up Mike's Apartment from a work computer. That's not the name of the movie.
It's Joe's apartment.
It's Joe's apartment. Mike's apartment is something else.
I don't know what Mike's.
Is there a couch in Mike's apartment? Oh, Joe's apartment. See, things you said Mike's apartment, I just assumed that was the name. I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. I vaguely remember that. That always makes me think of the Pearl Jam song.
Joe's apartment, and then Peter got to the punchline.
There you go. So book club this week is going to be so this week will be Hearts of Steel. And then next week, January 2nd, is going to be Revolution 0 and 1 with Cliff Notes for Revolution Micronauts.
If you're gonna skip a day of book club, it might want to be January 2nd.
Yeah.
Just if you're gonna call in sick, that's like a good day to just.
That's
Kind of rough.
yeah. I hope you guys are able to read those books for at least cheap. I hope it's on like Comixology Unlimited. Like, don't pay full price for those books, please.
I think you just say don't
books
pay
all
for
the
those
covers.
books and just left it.
I don't want to advocate, pirating the work that other people spent time to make, but just get them
read the
cheap.
TF Wiki summary. That's what you should
I
do.
mean, you didn't do the Humble
Shouldn't
Bundle.
do that either.
I feel like that's what I got all those from the Humble Bundle at some point. So I did not buy all the issues like Peter and the variants, but
By the way, how much we want to bet that like January 2nd, Anna's like, that was the best night of book club. Those stories were great. I really loved them. Totally gonna be the case.
Don't disparage Anna like that. She's a
I'm not
contrarian at times, but not in that regard.
I don't know. I could see it, Phil. Just saying.
Like, pretty much her comic tastes in general go literally opposite of the mainstream. It doesn't mean it's wrong or anything. Taste or taste, right?
Yeah.
But just
Yeah.
that's my guess.
Right.
I guess I'm saying those books are so bad that to say someone would like it, I feel like would be disparaging them. That's how bad I think those books are.
Oh,
We're gonna use revolution as a pejorative from now on. Just like, and that's revolution level. Here's something to leave our listeners to think on. Would you rather read all the Revolution books or watch all the Bay movies?
Or watch the Netflix shows.
I mean, Netflix shows easy for me on that.
What about
got at least
the
Frank in it.
Power of the Primes trilogy?
Good night, everybody. There's your nightmares.
All right. Well, thanks,
See you
guys.
next year.
Thanks, guys, for joining me. Thanks to everyone in the chat tonight. Thanks to Catherine Zaldron, to Ron, to Antoine was in there earlier, to Dan, to who else am I missing? Ilmatic Prime. Jay Hollow was in there earlier. Enots. If I missed anyone, I apologize.
Yeah. If you stuck it out this long, thanks. Thanks for hanging out with us. Talk about stupid toys.
So
enjoy your evening.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you we'll see you in a couple weeks, I guess. Bye.